6:01, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The deadline for NFL teams to decide on giving out franchise or transition tags is today by 3 p.m. Central. In New York, Jets running back Breece Hall is expected to be tagged today if the two sides cannot agree to a long-term deal. In other NFL news, the Texans continue to make several moves yesterday as they traded with the Lions for running back David Montgomery in exchange for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, a 2026 fourth-round draft pick, and a 2027 seventh-round draft pick. Also, the Texans are releasing safety Jimmy Ward and will save $750,000 against the cap. Also, the Commanders, they've informed former Pro Bowl cornerback Marshawn Lattimore that they intend to release him before the new league year begins, a move that will save the team $18.5 million in cap space. Lattimore played 9 games last season before tearing his ACL. The Nashville Predators lost 4-2 to the Detroit Red Wings yesterday here in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena. The Preds are on a back-to-back, and they'll play in Columbus against the Blue Jackets tonight with a 6 p.m. puck drop. For all your foundation repair and waterproof needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves this. It's 104.5 The Zone.
Off and running on your Tuesday morning edition of Ramon and Will. Welcome in. Good morning. This is 104.5 The Zone and 104.5 The Zone TV on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. It is franchise tag deadline day in the National Football League. We've got the latest reports and rumors about the Titans and free agency that you need to know. Josh Heupel took an interesting stance on college football playoff expansion that we dive into in 15 minutes. Austin Price of VolQuest joins us for his weekly visit at 8:20. And Emery Hunt, CBS Sports football game plan, joins us to break down the NFL draft at 9:20. Your phone calls at 615-737-1045. He is the 11-year NFL vet and Vol Network analyst Ramon Foster. Justin Hawkins makes the show happen. I'm Will Bowling. On March the 5th, Tuesday morning. Good morning.
What up, man? Good morning. What up, Hawk? How we living?
March the 3rd, like I said.
March the 3rd, 3-3, 26, baby. Let's
Here's
roll.
a fun fact. A year ago today, my first day on the show.
Hey,
There you go.
get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
It is both
year.
the fact and fun.
Hey, welcome to a calendar year, Hawk, man. Jeez. Got a baby. By the way, Zeph trying to outdo us with baby gate out here, man. Zeph and his wife are expecting a baby as well.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
Something in the air right now.
Yes, it is. Congratulations to the Bananos, by the way. Yes, absolutely, man. Congrats,
Fantastic.
Zeph. I ain't gonna mess with you because your wife was super cool when we met her. And Zeph and I buried the hatchet last week as well. You know, he was calling us just the morning show, and so I had to put him through the ringer for a
They
while.
were already doing that.
Well, not anymore.
That's good.
Not anymore.
That's good. Now we just got to get Buck to stop doing it.
We have names here. We'll figure out a way. I promise you. Just give it time. Just one of them situations. Just give it time.
Fantastic.
Man, my left contact is kicking my butt this
what's
morning.
going on?
So I have an astigmatism, okay? This is one of those things. My contacts come with a weight in it.
Okay.
And right now, I guess the weight isn't shifting in the direction that it should. Both of them are in. I just looked at them in the bathroom, and I see the halo around my pupil, and I'm just like, you're in. Why are you acting distorted this morning, man? So I'm seeing clear, but then when I shift my eyes really fast, I guess the weight isn't positioning itself automatically the way it should. I probably need some eye drops in my eye more than anything this morning. And I'm also due for an eye exam real soon.
Goodness.
So it just is what it is. Yeah, I do yearly contacts. By the way, expensive. Okay.
Really?
Yes, 365. What was it? I think 325-ish contacts.
How long have you had them?
This is the year box that I'm on.
No. I mean, how long have you had to have some kind of eye thing?
Since 2002.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know this about you.
Wore glasses. You know what I did in high school? Because contacts, I think, well, I know, I think, well, at least for us, they were more expensive back then. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't afford contacts. So in football games,
I see.
I just took my glasses off, and the field was a blur to me.
Wow. Huh.
Yes.
Interesting.
The field, because I wasn't about to put glasses on in my helmet.
Yeah, right.
And
Makes
I could
sense.
see better as a teenager within like 20 feet of me. So like I could look to the sideline and see the signals that the coach was doing, or at least what I thought they were doing. And I was more right than wrong. But looking into the stands, like I could never spot my family.
Huh. Wow.
I was out there playing like a blur, man. It's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I've always had, so I got contacts when I went to UT. You know what's crazy? I went through an ordeal with those. You want to hear this real quick? Just real quick.
Absolutely.
So my contacts when I got to UT, they were more they weren't flexible. They were soft but not flexible. So in practices, I would wear contacts, and they were smaller as well. I would hit somebody, and my contacts would pop out. Like all the time. I would lose a contact.
It seems problematic on the offensive line.
Insane, Will. So I had to go back to the eye doctor and get a wider contact lens for my glasses. I mean, for my eyes, whatever, so they wouldn't keep popping out whenever I made contact with people. It wouldn't happen all the time, but I'd be in the middle of an offensive set, and next thing you know, my contacts would just fling out of my eye, and here I am with dirty gloves on trying to replace them in my eyes during practice.
You needed contacts.
I did. I needed contact.
Exactly.
Yes. I picked up what
you're getting it.
That was a great dad joke right there. I give that to you. It was solid. It wasn't great, solid, real good.
I've had worse. I'll probably have better as well.
But yeah, I'm a eye person out here, and I think when I hit 40, my eyes just got a little bit worse as well. So
dang.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. That was the reason I get yearly exams, though.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Matthew Berry writes yesterday 35 most interesting things he heard at the 2026 NFL Combine. We have nuggets, Ramon, about the Tennessee Titans.
What sauce do we get with them?
Do you want to start with surprising nuggets or nuggets that everyone has?
Give me nuggets everybody got.
He says, quote, I was told Denver's John Franklin Myers would be heading to Tennessee.
Ooh. Well, we talked about it.
We did.
But I didn't know we were that serious about it.
I said yesterday I'd be pretty surprised at this point if he is not a Tennessee Titan.
You did. Okay. I like that nugget right there.
Defensive tackle who has played for Robert Saleh before, was in Denver last season, 14 and a half sacks in 2 seasons as a Denver Bronco.
Not bad.
So I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Production.
Matthew Berry with more nuggets. Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love has been mocked to a lot of places in early expert mocks, and worth noting that FantasyLife.com's Matthew Friedman, the most accurate NFL draft ranker of the last 5 years, has Love mocked to the Saints at number 8. But Matthew Berry writes, I heard a very surprising team for Jeremiah Love at the Combine, the Titans. He adds, now sometimes teams picking early will just put stuff out there to drive interest and trading up or a smokescreen, so who knows? But as it was explained to me, Tennessee has Jeremiah Love as the best player in this draft. Regardless of position and given how many holes the team has, they just might take best player available when it gets to them each round. Love would be a star for the Titans on a team that doesn't have many, and with a new stadium expected to open in 2027, star power will be needed. Given head coach Robert Saleh, who's new, who during his time in San Fran has seen firsthand what an elite running back can do for a team, maybe Love to the Titans isn't as odd as you'd think at first blush. Matthew Berry.
I feel like Matthew Berry listened to our show yesterday. We at least brought up the star power having him and Cam on the same team. Jeez, come on, Matthew. I wonder, though, as well, how that draft would unfold in the end on the last pick if they do go with best available, if that's what Matthew Berry heard. Do you believe in best available? Do you believe in... You do. Cool.
I do. I also believe in getting positions in the first round, at least, though, that you can't really get anywhere else. I mean, you can, just not nearly as impactful. The drop-off of quality from first-round edges to day 2, 3 edges is more significant than the drop-off, many would say, in ways you could impact your team, say, between first-round running back and third-round running back.
No doubt about it.
Another nugget. Again, these are at NBCSports.com from longtime fantasy football guru Matthew Berry. Count the Titans among the teams looking for an impact wide receiver in free agency. Not a shock there. Wan'Dale Robinson or Alec Pierce were two names floated to me, he says. As players they are interested in, given former Giants head coach Brian Daboll as the Titans' new offensive coordinator, Robinson makes a ton of sense.
Makes sense. You had that take yesterday. Well, I mean, you did say this is what everybody knew so far, but in general, they're listening to us. I'm convinced at this point, man. We've had all of these conversations and just simply made it national, and nobody gives credit. You know, Jay Williams did run like that yesterday, too.
Well, I mean, I was in Indy.
Yeah.
So I did hear a lot of things in Indy.
This is true.
I have nowhere near the amount of people talking to me that Matthew Berry does, but yeah, I think that's the sentiment. If it's not Alec Pierce, it's probably Wan'Dale Robinson next week.
It's going to be fascinating to see how the Colts balance that as well, considering how high that quarterback tag is for Daniel Jones.
Franchise tag deadline day in the NFL, 3 p.m. Central today. That's something we'll be monitoring as the day goes. So even if the specific stories today aren't about a player getting tagged, there are ripple effects of the tag being placed. And there are also longer-term contracts that'll be given today, Ramon. So it'll be interesting to see how Indy specifically manages Alec Pierce and Daniel Jones, because I'm not sure Alec Pierce is going to really be super motivated to sign a long-term deal if he doesn't have Daniel Jones.
Absolutely.
But then you also need to guarantee Daniel Jones has a deal, which might take a franchise tag, which really handcuffs you in salary cap perspectives as well.
What's wild on the Daniel Jones conversation is he's warranted enough of success in that 1 year that he's been with the Colts that he's probably going to end up, if it is a deal, getting a deal like Sam Darnold. Like he might get $100 million or $30 million plus a year.
He may get 40 plus a year.
Yeah. Just
probably will.
Imagine that. You know what I'm saying? Like from where he was, I know he was a first rounder, but like they found their guy.
Well, people laughed at you last year when you said that you wanted him to be a Titan. When you said draft Abdul Carter, trade back, and sign Daniel Jones. Who's laughing now?
I know. Like, not to run, spin the block.
And not to say he would have been that good here,
right.
But yeah, I mean, he worked out pretty well there.
He wasn't a dud.
No, he's far from it.
And you didn't sign Geno Smith is what the conversation was. Like, he's a level above. And by the way, the J.J. McCarthy Minnesota Vikings national conversation is blowing my mind. Like,
how so?
Because I don't think anybody is in the boat with J.J. McCarthy right now, at least the conversation out of Indy.
Yeah, he's a meme.
Yeah, he's a meme.
He's a meme to the level Will Levis was at the end here of being the starter.
Yes. And I mean, it's fascinating, of course, Kevin O'Connell, their head coach, and like I can't imagine how he feels and knowing that he's got to settle with him and potentially just look for another veteran quarterback as well. That's got to be like they're probably in more of a rough spot than anybody else because Justin Jefferson probably is not wanting to play with J.J. McCarthy as well when it boils down to his inconsistency as a young quarterback.
That's why they got a GM opening.
Oh, man.
615-737-1045 is our number on this Tuesday morning. Live for the 1045 The Zone Circus Sports Studio, Kentucky's largest sports book. Can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. A wide-ranging, interesting interview with Josh Heupel at On 3 with Chris Lowe. Made some headlines yesterday. We'll tell you why coming up next. Ramon Will at 104.5 The Zone, kicking off your Tuesday morning. 615-737-1045 at Ramon and Will, where you can follow the show on Twitter. So Josh Heupel made headlines yesterday, and honestly, Ramon, we could pick 5 or 6 headlines out of a strong, wide-ranging interview with On3's Chris Lowe.
Yeah.
This is the funny thing about social media. I feel like the quote that got a lot of run isn't really a major talking point within this story. It's kind of one of those. So Josh Heupel talks about a lot of the changes that he's made for Tennessee football this year. Talking about Derek Owings coming in as strength coach, about Jim Knowles being the new defensive coordinator, about expectations. And the consistent theme around all of it, Ramon, is that Tennessee has championship-level expectations, and Josh Heupel is making necessary changes this offseason in order to get to that point, to be in the neighborhood of the elites in college football. He says, disappointed in some of the results last year, but we can continue to take steps, and we will take those steps. There's no doubt. Well, at the very end of this, he takes a stance on college football playoff expansion, saying that he prefers a 24-team format, which the Big Ten has proposed, saying, quote, the way college football is constantly changing, that probably makes the most sense. Quote, my goal is to go win the championship too, and that's why I want to be here. I know you can do it here. We're in a race to get it done as fast as possible. I love the people that we have here, and that's our staff and our players. We're going to go compete for that thing every day, end quote. How do you feel about Josh Heupel taking a stance on college football playoff expansion?
I would call it smart. I thought about this yesterday.
Okay.
Why would he suggest this as somebody that's gone in a 12-team format for a coach that's at a big Power 4 school that has a whole lot of funding, that's pretty much been having the lay of the land? Like, he knows the process on getting to the college football playoffs. He's done it before. All you got to do it in some fashion is duplicate that 2022 team. Like, that's what you kind of say to yourself is find a way to duplicate that. Was it 22 or 23? It was 22.
22 yes. And 24.
22 and 24, yeah. 24.
They would have been in a 12-team playoff.
Yes. So I said, like, he's done it before. You know why it's smart on him to say this? And I think other coaches probably feel this way as well. There is no job security in just 12. There's zero job security in 12. You can't justify to your fan base, and it's quotes and conversation from Chris Lowe in this article about how one big booster said we were in the pits. Pretty much, I'm summarizing. We were in hell as a football program.
The quote says, as one longtime Tennessee booster told On3, we'd been irrelevant for so long that you wondered if it was real and if it was going to last. Heupel gave us a reason to believe again that we could play with anybody and beat anybody. It had been a while since anybody around here honestly felt that way.
This is job security again, because you have coaches that are going into this college football season with the expectation that you can only be 12. And we've seen the fan reaction. We've seen team reactions. We've seen coaches get fired because them not having meaningful postseason football to look forward to. Everybody wants to be in the CFP, but it's only 12 teams. And when you play in the SEC or the Big Ten, the justification of, hey, we play in a hard conference. Hey, if you're in the Big Ten, well, the last 2 champions have come out of the Big Ten. Well, if you play in the SEC, we go through the gauntlet every single weekend. It's hard keeping guys healthy. It's hard keeping the team together. It's hard with the transfer portal. So this, for the coaches who I would say are business smart, it might not be smart as far as your reputation go by saying you on 24 teams at all. But it says, in order for me to justify this $9+ million salary, $10+ million salary, I gotta be able to show face and say that we made the CFP. And if you are getting edged out year in and year out, like Notre Dame this past year, what is your season worth? Like, that's what this college football climate has told us. If you don't make the CFP, you've done nothing. None of these players, teams care about getting a PS5 anymore, getting the bowl ring anymore. Like, I think those days of saying we went to the Blue Stripes Bowl or we went to the Bahamas Bowl, we've ruined it.
Yeah, I don't love it.
I'm with you.
I really don't love it. And I think you make yourself a really easy target by taking a stance like this. Any of the tweets about this that I've seen have the same message. Oh, well, of course you want the playoff expanded because you can't make the way it's currently constructed. The odd thing about that is that since 2022, Heupel would have had Tennessee in a 12-team playoff 2 times.
Facts.
In 2022 with Joe Milton, the year they won the Orange Bowl, and obviously in 2024 they did make it. So a lot of the jokes about like, oh, well, of course you want the playoff expanded. You can't make it now are actually wrong because they have made it now and would have again had the format been in place earlier. So I think that's where I begin. But I think the larger point that you make is totally correct and spot on, that if you gave truth serum to Power 4 head coaches, and let's even just narrow this down because it's not a Power 4, it's a Power 2.
It is.
If you gave truth serum to Power 2 head coaches, I bet you the majority of them want this. But there's a reason, Ramon, why they aren't saying it. It looks weak. Mm-hmm. It's not weak. I get it. But it looks weak because it looks like you are running away from the problem and running away from the challenge versus embracing it. That being said, everything else in this interview that Josh Heupel said embraces the challenge in front of him, that he is at a place that he signed up for because he understands there are championship or bust aspirations. Mm-hmm. Everything else, he says in this article, lends itself to that, except for wanting a 2014 playoff. To me, all it says is that Josh Heupel understands what's at stake.
Yeah.
Josh Heupel understands what the 2026 season is for Tennessee. He understands they've lost 6 straight games to nationally ranked teams dating back to the 2024 season. And he understands that necessary changes are going to have to be made within his program in order to be competitive with the elites of the SEC again. I just think that you probably keep that one in the chamber if you're Josh Heupel.
I feel where you're coming from, and you're right in it. But here's the thing. He's and Chris Lowe said this in his article as well as what we're referencing this morning from On 3.
Which we retweeted it at Ramon Will a few minutes ago.
And here's the thing, though, to your point. He's already done it. He understands the hard way into making it into the college football playoffs. You said that as well. But I think to your point about keeping that one in the chamber, this probably makes more coaches want to back up what it was. Like he clearly is, he said it in the article, he's on the side of the Big Ten on this one, as far as them wanting the 24-player side to it. And, Will, to your point, like the operation of this, and in my opinion, as far as trying to be a Power 4 head coach is there's so much change that happens when your team doesn't make it. Like you said, like it's soft most definitely to say this, but it's also very soft for Notre Dame to back out of it. It's soft for coaches to try to have to overpay guys if you don't make the CFP in December just to retain your team. At least if you add the 24 teams to it, the expansion of games happens as well. So that means guys are probably more unlikely to hop in the portal. Coaches not leave. The stability of rosters, I feel like, is there. Like, I'm giving all the reasons as to why I think this is the case and why, like I said, from a sports business side, every coach, to your point, is saying this out loud. I personally don't think it minimizes him as a coach. It just says, and it's simply because he's already done it the 12-team format way. Did we get our head cracked by Ohio State? Yes. But think about, and I think, honestly, Vol Nation has gotten to Heupel in this as well. He understands we are insane. He pretty much said it in the article, like they breathe it 365 days a year. It's nonstop, and the expectation. And then on top of that as well, moving forward, like we're speaking about just lightly. Is he on a hot seat? Is he not if he doesn't do well next year? I don't think he's on a hot seat.
He's not today, no.
Not today.
No.
But
it could heat up quickly if things go south in 26.
The 4th game of the season is Texas in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Do you know how wild we're going to be?
LSU comes to town with Lane Kiffin and the quarterback that you wanted and Sam Leavitt. Like, things aren't going to feel very good if Sam Leavitt comes to town and beats you in your home stadium in a project that's in year 1 versus you that's going into, year 6?
Yeah.
At this point, yeah, you're 6.
And to me, I get it. I can sit back and say, at some point, you can't continue to overshop for quarterbacks in the portal each and every year. The roster turnover of providing a competitive team, whether you're going to get the premier defensive end that's going to go up in cost every single year. I think if any coach is smart, they back this up because it allows you to have more stability. The conversation of playing young guys, you can do that because you might make the CFP as the 22nd team and allow yourself to win one game or at least get that check mark. I get it.
I don't know. So I don't know that it does really give you more stability because the goalposts then move to what success looks like. If right now a successful season for Tennessee is making the college football playoff, if 24 teams make it, I'm not sure that's the expectation anymore. I think the expectation becomes, can we get to the quarterfinals? Can we get to the semifinals? Like, I think there's this perception out there that if you expand the playoff, more coaches will keep their jobs because they will make the playoff. I think James Franklin is the perfect example that that's still not the case because he was in the semifinal and the next year was out. So I just think the goalposts are going to then move because when more teams can claim successful seasons, your seat at the table just gets a little bit more crowded, and you still want to be sitting at the table with the Georgias, with the Ohio States, the Texases. When you're looking around and all of a sudden Vanderbilt can claim playoff, and all of a sudden South Carolina has a good season and can claim they're in the college football playoff. Those aren't teams you want to be considered with anyway. So just the fact that they're in a 24-team playoff and maybe you are as well, that's never who Tennessee wants to be compared to. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that's necessarily a job saver the way that maybe we make it out to be. It may seem like it right now, but that's because we respect the playoff as a 12-team tournament. Once it becomes a 24-team tournament, I don't think we give the check mark of made the playoff the same amount of respect, especially, again, when you're talking about the 20 seed or the 19 seed or whatever, probably getting beat by 3 or 4 touchdowns the way Tennessee did against Ohio State. Like, a lot of people discount Tennessee making the playoff because they got blown out.
Yeah, for sure.
And I understand that argument, but just imagine what that's going to be like if you really expanded it. And you've got, I mean, what? Like, who is a fringe top 25 team? Like, you have Missouri taking on Indiana?
Yeah.
That spread's going to be 17.5 points. Like, this sport is not balanced enough to do this and do it well. We already have blowouts in the first round of a 12-team playoff because the gap between the elites and the very good teams is still substantial. Why anyone thinks this is a good idea is beyond me in the Big Ten.
And again, for me, it's because I think it checks the mark. Just simply
and for coaches, I understand it to say, like, look, because it's not as much about, like, let's just get in and then I've had a successful season. I think for coaches, it's just get me to December. Just get me to December and I can go on a run because Ohio State is the perfect example of this. The 4-team playoff expanding to 12, I think the perception was, Ramon, would give more teams a chance, would give lesser-known brands a chance to get in and compete. What it really did was it gave the big-time programs a mulligan. Mm-hmm. Because at 10-2 with a loss to Michigan, in years past, Ohio State would have been done.
Absolutely.
They would have been out.
Absolutely.
But all of a sudden, they got a mulligan by losing to Michigan. They got hot, played up to their roster's potential, and then they're like, oh, yeah, we are the best team in the country. We won the national championship. That's, I think, what coaches want, is to be able to say, if we lose in a 9-game conference schedule, an extra game versus what I usually would play, when I'm supposed to be playing Arkansas Pine Bluff, and now I have to have Texas come to town and play LSU and still play Alabama, I want a mulligan. That way, if my quarterback gets hurt in the middle of October but is back for December, I can go on a run when my team's more at full strength. That's what I think coaches want within this.
But like I said, to that point, though, if you're not making the CFP in the top 12, the seat in the conversation is still the same as well. Like, so you might as well give your team something to opt in and play for, the coaching staff to stick around for, the ability to retain your roster as much as you possibly can too, and by extending it out, because that's what you're running into for the most part. To me, it's for the structure of college football. I think this is why it makes sense, because I don't know how anybody, I know we're doing 40 bowls in 40 days with Bert, but legitimately nobody can tell you who's playing, especially when they're playing at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. Like, to me, I think this format betters the game. Yeah, you can say you can muddy. I mean, you're gonna muddy the waters a little bit with the quality of it. But I'd much rather, if I'm a coach, if I'm on a team that's trying to continue to move in the right direction, that method fits to me. Whether it's minimized by the 22nd versus the 8th overall team, those seeds playing against each other, it still is a part of the postseason. This, to me, is the same way I view this method, if you're going to 24, the same way March Madness is in basketball.
So I'm glad you brought that up. Basketball is just so different.
It is.
Because on any given day, a 16 seed can still beat a 1. That's not the case in college football. Like, we saw when James Madison went to Oregon, and that's not even the best example. It would be like if James Madison had played Indiana.
Yeah.
That's a 40-point game.
But that's also the perk you get for being a better seed as well. Like, the structure of what March Madness is that 1 is supposed to be 16.
Right.
2 and 15. Like, you're supposed to, but the point of it all is to only justify college football to 12 good teams when you know, of course, like I said, Notre Dame could have gone on a run at the 13th or 14th seed. Yeah, you got to kind of give them credit right there.
I don't think Notre Dame's winning the national championship.
Notre Dame would have at least have won. Now, I didn't say win the national championship. I said go on a run. They could have gotten out of the first round if there was a 16 or 24 team seed. That's my point, is that you have the ability to say, hey, we're better than what the postseason, what the regular season was. Notre Dame losing to Miami early in the season, they can at least justify that by saying we got to the postseason, we won a game. This version right here of 24 teams is better than saying, hey, we only got 12 and we're doing the NIT. If we're comparing like conferences, postseason to postseason, I'd much rather be the 64th team in the NCAA tournament versus the number 1 seed in the NIT. And I think when you put it in 24, you at least get to say to yourself, we played in the postseason. And you know, like I know, there's credit in saying we made it to the big tournament versus, respectfully, the NIT. And I think regular bowl games are NIT and nobody cares about them whatsoever. This at least brings the importance of football to the last 3-4 weeks of practice in December and potentially January if you do go on a run.
What makes it important?
What makes it important is it's a part of the 2014 playoff as opposed to it being the Bahama Bowl and opposed to it being the Frito-Lay Bowl in Texas somewhere. I know because of the way we cover it nowadays. If you're not in the CFP, nothing else matters. No matter how much we hype up Georgia Tech versus whoever this past bowl season, it doesn't matter.
So I just care less about that. Like, I just don't really care about... Well, yeah, but
that's the conversation.
They get paid a lot of money to care about it.
But that's the conversation from Heupel.
I don't care about fixing bowl games.
But you're from a fan's perspective.
So what I'm getting to is, though, that I think there are ways you can do both. I think there are ways that Josh Pate's talked about this. Play bowl games the weekend of conference championship games as data points, where bubble teams of the college football playoff, they're playing conference championship weekend. That way there's not an inherent advantage or disadvantage in playing or not playing conference championship weekend. You bring back bowls that matter in 6 games that feature the next 12 teams, and you use that in the totality of the entire season. The thing to me is, like, I just disagree with you that saying we made the playoff matters when it's a 2014 playoff, because how many of those teams have a real chance of winning the national championship? Maybe half of them.
I mean,
maybe in a good year.
The same conversation can be said about the mid-major or the bubble team making it in the tournament. Like, for instance, if
I just don't think that's the same thing, though.
It is,
because basketball has a different set of rules, has a different way of upsets. Like,
but it's competition.
The equivalent of George Mason. I do think it's apples to oranges.
We're just totally opposite on
George
this one
Mason is not making the Final Four in football.
No, but
like
there's
the equivalent of George Mason or
who's a top
Loyola
25
Chicago.
George Mason in football then? Like, we're still talking about the top of the top.
We're
the
talking
top
about
25
probably
still matter.
James Madison. We're talking about 20 to 24.
At that point,
is
I
not
think you
making
look
a Final
outside
Four
of
run.
James Madison at that point. If we're talking about top 25.
Then
like,
what's the equivalent of a Cinderella?
Equivalent of a
in football?
Cinderella would be, let's see, Baylor being good in football.
You think Baylor could have made the Final Four this year?
I'm talking about football. If we're talking about,
that's what I'm saying.
Yes, I'm speaking of. So I think you're having a micro conversation. I'm having a macro conversation about who's getting in. We're looking at the top 25 teams or the top 30, and you got to pick 24 of those.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Baylor that hops in. There might end up being a South Carolina that pops in because they're 22nd or 23rd, and giving them an opportunity to go to the postseason. Just a Wake Forest that's not necessarily in. Yes, the conversation of how serious Wake Forest is as a football team versus in Indiana at this point, that's the matchup that you're still looking for that justifies your program continually building in the right direction. I'm not necessarily looking at it like, hey, it is some side school or a at-large team. We're still talking about major programs that have the ability to play in the postseason. That's what is allowing, in my opinion, the coaches to justify their success as a team.
We'll continue this when we come back. 615-737-1045. Your phone calls and more thoughts on playoff expansion and an interesting talking point from Josh Heupel after this.
Genesis Diamonds has become one of the largest dealers of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in America, and they're having a huge Rolex event this Friday and Saturday. If you've always wanted a Rolex or you are looking to add to your collection, you can't miss this epic 2-day sale featuring a stunning new selection of these hard-to-find watches. I'm talking about Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, Batmans. Genesis has all the most popular models in pristine condition. Some models still in the box and never worn before. But during this event, you can take advantage of special financing up to 5 years. And with the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a pair of 4-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings for absolutely free. And listen to me, if you already own a Rolex, you big ballers, bring it in to sell or trade or to get top dollar if you want to trade it in. Simply don't miss this chance to get the luxury timepiece you've always wanted and get a free pair of lab-grown diamond studs. It's this Friday and Saturday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds, your home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs. And of course, see store for details and while supplies last on approved credit.
Talking about college football playoff expansion this morning on Ramon and Will, as Josh Heupel has given his take, and so have we. For it, if you're Heupel, if you're Ramon, anti for me. Listen, I want a 16-team playoff with 4 automatic bids for the SEC and the Big Ten.
Gotcha.
Based off of the conference championship races. That's what I want.
Gotcha.
In the way that makes the regular season matter again, and you give automatic bids for championship, making it to the conference championship, and you have the 3 seed play the 6, the 4 seed play the 5, conference championship weekend. You have an extravaganza on Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Saturday night in the SEC.
Yeah.
You decide your 4 teams based on that, and all of a sudden, being in the top 6 teams of the SEC matters.
Yeah.
And the conference race matters. And all of a sudden, you want to go play Ohio State in non-conference. You're down to go play Michigan.
Right.
Because it doesn't hurt you.
It doesn't. Yeah, I get you. But again, that number right there is always going to come up to how much money can we make. And that's the reason I think that is a part of the equation as well.
There is no arguing that.
24 is making way more money than 12.
And that's what matters. More than more than what the fans want, more than what the coaches want. How does it make chancellors and university presidents money?
Yeah.
Ryan in Lebanon, first up on this. What's up, Ryan?
What's up, Ryan?
What's up, guys? Good morning.
Morning.
So I'm all for expanding, Will, and here's why, man. You got to think, how many times have we seen in Ramon where a number 20 team or number 22 or 25 team go into a, let's say, a number 3 team and whoop that butt? You know what I mean? Like, that's just what and it's way different than men's basketball, where you see, MTSU go and play, was it Michigan State a couple of years and beat them. But it's like, you have to give credit where it's due. When you make the top 25 in college football, especially Division I think that you're able to go to the playoffs, and if you expand that, it gives a whole new meaning to top 25. And I'll hang up the list, and you guys have a great rest of the week.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I just don't think that example really exists that you're making, though, right? Like, let's say hypothetically the number, I don't know, 21 seed would be playing the 4 seed in their building?
It would be a bye probably, so it would be 9 seed?
I don't know that it would. I think that it's like a straight up 12 games,
1 to 25,
24 teams is what they want. Like, how often is the number 21 team in the country going to the number 4 team in the country and winning on the road?
The conversation is always the what if, though, right? But when you look at like the top 25, I think his last comment right there was probably the best. Ryan's last comment is top 25 will mean something. I do think we minimize the top 25 these days too, because we're only looking at the top 12. And I do think there's a point to be made in that point. Like, it don't matter if you go and get slaughtered. Right, but it still is the conversation that you are one of the top 25, and at the end of the year, that ranking did mean something. You got the ability to compete. Now, we live by the any given Sunday, any given Saturday creed more in the NFL than college, but there is that possibility that the 24th ranked team is just underestimated going into it. We've seen good teams lose to bad teams.
I think the main part where we differ in this is how fans and programs will accept success. I am of the opinion that maybe the first time you make a 2014 playoff, your fan base will be excited. Your fan base will love it. I don't think you're content with that for long, especially when you go to Indiana and get slaughtered right away.
But we're not content with the 12.
Exactly my point. That's the point that I make.
I know.
Is that like, to your point of like, oh, well, it's a box to check for coaches to keep their jobs. Maybe at the beginning.
Yeah.
But when you get a taste of the playoff, now the expectation becomes, all right, well, now we got to go deeper in the playoff. Now just making it, like that is, you're making my point for me.
Yeah.
That like right now for Tennessee, like just making it isn't going to satisfy you as much as actually competing and feeling you can win it.
But here's the thing. I think if you're a real football program or a real football fan of a program, then it's always going to be that. To your point, James Franklin got fired after making it. But like,
again, that's my exact argument.
But the point, I think I'm proving what you want But I'm also saying this. This is also what the game needs. Like, you want the opportunity is what this is. Now, if you really building a program, the expectation is the next year you want it back. And at some point, it will grow stale. And then you fire the coach.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it. Hammerhead is in Hendersonville up next. Good morning, Hammerhead.
Hammerhead.
Yeah, how you doing there? I don't know, Will. I kind of got to disagree with you on this stuff here, man. More teams, that's the only answer.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you what, these college kids, they ain't studying about, or we're not competitive. No, I think you get your numbers wrong. These kids care about, hey, my team is in the playoff. We'll probably get I'm playing with Bud Tussle University. I'll probably get my butt kicked by Alabama, but we'll just watch it anyway to see how long they hang in there. Ain't nobody studying about that. These kids want to see these teams in the playoffs. Now, if it was up to me, I would have 32 teams in there. I wouldn't have any conference championships, none of that mess.
No.
It's just 32 teams, boom.
How long are you extending the season? Are we playing in February, Hammerhead?
Playing till February.
32 teams, are you making the season shorter? Are you making it longer? 32 is a lot of games.
Probably a little long, but look, listen, this thing is going to expand whether people want to or not.
Well, that's true. I agree with you on that.
There's teams, I just don't understand this thing. I never understood it when they had 4 teams, Will. It's like you said, it's about the money, okay? More teams, and like I said, I don't think as far as the college students, I don't think they care about that. They just want their team in the playoffs.
Appreciate the call, Hammerhead.
I think 24 does give you more campus games, too, which we all want.
That I do like.
We all want that.
I appreciate the perspective. I disagree with you, but I appreciate your call.
Yeah.
We'll get to more of your phone calls, 615-737-1045. Oh, in the chat, Sydney says, Mr. Know-It-All Will. We got to be able to disagree without me automatically being a know-it-all. What are we talking about?
Come on, Sydney.
I love doing this. This is great.
Like
this is sports talk radio. Don't get your feelings hurt. If you do, I don't know. Just keep your comments to yourself.
I do want to hear somebody want to keep it at 12. I do.
Besides just me?
Yeah.
615-737-1045.
Besides just me.
No, I want 16. So
Kendall Dillon, we'll come to you, man.
I actually don't want 12 either. We'll get to that, and we'll also get to the team to watch today. The most interesting team on franchise tag deadline day is in the AFC. We'll talk about it next. Hey, it's Will Bowling for my friends at Lee Company. Hey, do you have a plumbing issue at home? Whether it's a leaky faucet or a clogged drain, maybe a water heater that's gone cold, the plumbing professionals at Lee Company have your back. Available 24/7 year-round, Lee Company's licensed technicians can save you time, money, and all the stresses that come with an ill-timed plumbing issue. You can contact their award-winning team at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com for the folks that have over 80 years of experience serving this area. Lee Company's open and available 24/7. With 14 community locations in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Alabama, over 1,800 team members. They're going to help you out, and they're going to do so with great service and available when things pop up at the worst possible time in your home. Contact their award-winning team online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need.
.702, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The deadline for NFL teams to decide on giving out franchise or transition tags is today by 3 p.m. Central. In New York, Jets running back Breece Hall is expected to be tagged today if the two sides cannot agree to a long-term deal. In other NFL news, the Texans continued to make several moves yesterday as they traded for Lions running back David Montgomery in exchange for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, a 2026 fourth-round draft pick, as well as a 2027 seventh-round draft pick. Also, the Texans are releasing safety Jimmy Ward and will save $750,000 against the salary cap. The Commanders have informed former Pro Bowl cornerback Marshawn Lattimore that they intend to release him before the New Year League begins, which is next week, March 11th, a move that will save the team $18.5 million in cap space. Lattimore played in 9 games last year before tearing his ACL. The Nashville Predators lost 4-2 to the Detroit Red Wings yesterday here in Nashville with goals from Philip Forsberg and Jonathan Marchessault. The Preds are back in action tonight with a back-to-back. They'll play in Columbus against the Columbus Blue Jackets with a 6 p.m. puck drop. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 2 on your Tuesday morning edition of Ramon and Will. NFL headlines and players' names to know out of Combine Week coming up in 15 minutes. Ramon, today is Franchise Tag Deadline Day. And Adam Schefter of ESPN told Pat McAfee yesterday the chances of the Indianapolis Colts And Daniel Jones getting a deal done before the deadline at 3 p.m. today is a 50-50 chance. Wow. Looking to sign Alec Pierce to a long-term deal, or they could tag Daniel Jones and they could let Pierce hit free agency. He's not hitting free agency. No. $43.8 million franchise tag on the table for Daniel Jones, or a transition tag for $37.8 million. The Colts are the team to watch today.
I got a feeling they're going to do right by that, by Daniel Jones. And to think, we were on the right side of history by saying Daniel Jones was the guy. The Achilles sucks, of course, but, I mean, he was playing really doggone good. And here's the other part, too, as we go back to these calls in a second, is it's a matter of finding a guy for your system. That's what this is. That's what the NFL is. Like, you look at teams that win Super Bowls or a lot of games, you look at the system in which they're playing. And Daniel Jones has found one. And Shane Steichen looked like he's trying to hold on to it like a fat kid hold on to cake or something, man. Like, he in it. You hear me? He in it. I'm talking about more than a doggone muscle bro with some protein. You feel me? Like, that's where he's at right now.
Protein.
Man, jeez.
A lot of you wanting to chime in on the college football playoff expansion discussion, and Josh Heupel saying he wants 24 teams. So let's let the people speak, shall we? Back to the phones. Dylan is in Hermitage next up. What's up, Dylan?
What's up, Dylan?
Hey, what's up, guys? I think comparing basketball to football is as simple as there's only 5 men on the court. So if you have one great player that can put up 40 points,
right?
If you put Wemby on a garbage team, they're a totally different animal than a football player. You can't put Patrick Mahomes on a garbage football team and end up getting into the playoffs if they're a garbage team.
Understood.
Appreciate the call, Dylan. I think that's one of the key differences, yes.
For sure. I get that. And I have no problem with that as well. Mine is at least you understand the method to get there. I'm looking at it, and we'll probably have to have a longer conversation about that in general. My point is this allows teams to continually build by making it to the postseason. I don't think bowl games do. With as many opt-outs as you get, like I said, I'm looking at it from a player/team perspective. Like, you don't get no real opportunity to retain in today's college football world.
So you're saying build the playoff bigger and it will more evenly distribute the talent because more teams will say we have a shot to win it.
Because we just made the CFP. Our team is building something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that simple. Like, I don't know if Ricky Gibson leaves UT if we make the playoffs this year. You know what I'm saying? Just the hypothetical. That's my point is you have the ability to say, but we're doing something here, especially if you're a good Power 4 team. You ain't even got to be great. Instead, he jumped ship as soon as December hit because Tennessee's not playing in a valid game in the bowl season.
Well, I mean, to be fair, though, look at who left Tennessee after they did make the playoff. Their quarterback.
Oh, that's money. Circumstantially, that's a different situation.
I think that point is, though, that you're always going to have attrition as long as players have the power. And players right now have the power more so than what coaches are comfortable with in college sports. I think that's exactly why you're seeing people like Josh Heupel start to come out and say, no, we want 24 teams because we don't have the power right now. We are not in control of what we should be able to control, so give us more of a margin for error.
Keep them longer. Basically, the season goes longer.
That's where Josh Heupel's coming from, is to say that, like, look, I have less control over my program as ever before in college sports, so give me more of a margin for error. That way I can claim success more easily and get my playoff bonus more easily as well, because that's a big part of this for coaches, too.
And I think fans would appreciate that better, though, too.
I just fundamentally think that I'm on the other side of it, and that players like Ricky Gibson and Nico Iamaleava and Boo Carter are always going to leave regardless of whether you're a playoff team or not. Because if you're a playoff team and you're in the 24-team round and you lose, well, you're looking around and say, well, I want to be in the final 8. I want to be in the last 4.
I just viewed
grass is always greener.
Real quick before we take more was if we made the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. That was a bowl, as you said to yourself. Yeah, we were a step better than we were last year.
And this year, that was the semifinal.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking about like the old bowl system in 04.
Right.
Like,
it was easier to grade success.
Yes. if you had those, like, I don't think you can grade success in today's world unless you're one of the 12. And they're better than, like, there's a better product than the 12 teams we're seeing is my point.
Let's go to Kendall in Nashville up next. Good morning, Kendall.
Morning, Kendall.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good.
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 So I was kind of same thing Ramon just said. That's what I was going to say.
My bad.
I think you good. I think over time, it will make teams like Baylor and South Carolina and all these other teams good because they can say, hey, we're in the playoffs. So guys, the talented guys, instead of going to Ohio State or Alabama, are going to say, I can still make the playoffs and I can start now. And I can go to the playoffs potentially by going to this school. Let me not go there, which eventually over time I think will balance things out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like 24 games. I think 16 would be good. Doesn't really affect me. I'm an Ohio State fan.
Get.
But still, I think that would work. And I think over time it will make teams better. Obviously, as it first rolls out, teams are going to get beat bad.
Yeah.
But I think over time it will work.
How does it feel to never lose, Kendall? Huh?
Thank you for the call.
1 year poverty is what they dealt with.
The other thing we haven't mentioned in this is in American sports, we are watering down what constitutes success more and more as we expand postseasons. To your point about being able to call a season a success because you made the 2014 playoff, I want to use USC as an example.
Okay.
Because last season, USC finished 20th, I believe it was, in the final college football playoff rankings. And they would have made the college football playoff at 8-4 in the regular season. Is this a schedule that earns you postseason? A win over Missouri State and Georgia Southern to start the season. You go to a terrible Purdue team and you win by 16.
Mm-hmm.
You beat a bad Michigan State team by 14. You lose at Illinois. You beat Michigan. That's a ranked win. Lose by 10 at Notre Dame. You barely beat a mid-Nebraska team. You beat Northwestern soundly. You beat Iowa by 5. Okay, I'll give you that one. That's a solid win.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they're ranked 21st. Oregon, you lose to by 15, and UCLA, you beat by 19. By USC standards, that's not a successful season. Having, 2 ranked wins? You weren't really able to beat anybody you weren't supposed to. You kind of just held serve. Why should we reward teams for holding serve? If Tennessee just beats Vandy last year, they'd be in a 2014 playoff. But do we really feel that much better about Tennessee football going into next season if they go 9-3, they beat Vandy, and just kind of, again, hold serve? I don't know that we do. I think we're sitting here saying, man, we're still knocking on the door of the Georgia level and the Texases of the world, which Texas wasn't the best example. They weren't as good this year, too. But I just don't think we should be rewarding teams for going 8-4 and winning the games they're supposed to. But if you're in the playoff, you should beat somebody you're not supposed to.
Fair. Very.
Unless you're just the best team out there. But
here's the thing.
that.
That'll happen at some point. Like, the chaos that we love about March Madness compared to that lightly is something wild is going to happen in one. Like, an Appalachian State type team, whether it be Tennessee in that type of year or whether it's Colorado State that makes it. Like, some team's going to make it that's not supposed to or that's not supposed to win. That's the reason I think the tournament will be worth it. More so than anything, you also get a college campus football game as well. College football campus football game as well. But your point about, like, USC schedule, whether it be because of the Big Ten and who they're playing, but Ohio State just dealt the same thing as well.
Right, but they didn't lose 4 games.
They didn't lose 4 games.
That's the point. You get credit for holding serve when you don't lose.
But I mean, looking at who they played, Washington, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Penn State, UCLA, and Rutgers, like, they smacked these teams as well.
And they
like
beat Texas.
The point of it all is you get to the postseason, these dust-ups that you get yourself into get you into the tournament. And then you can prove yourself. Like, the cream of the crop is going to rise no matter what. If you get beat down and have to go get bruised and go back home, that's fine as well.
Lamont is in Nashville up next. What's up, Lamont?
What's up, Lamont?
Hey, how you doing?
We're good, man. Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
I'm just asking, like, Ramon, I disagree with you. You know why? Because for me, I don't want my son playing a pro schedule in college football. You already know that the best football gets your best years. You already coming in at 23. Then you got a 5-year contract with a 6-year option. Then you already 29. If you ain't any good, you don't get another contract. So why would you want your son to sit there and play 18 games a year? And that's like 54 games in 3 years because you got to stay in school 3 years. That's like 3 seasons right there. That's like 4 seasons. Like you playing the whole senior season your last in 3 years. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense for the kid's body. Why would you do that?
Understood.
It doesn't make sense.
I got you. But here's the thing. There will be only 2 teams that play 18 games. You could play 13 and be first-round bounce as well. Like, I'm not minimizing your point. You're right. There is a different acclimation of playing 12 college games versus 17 NFL games. There's a point to be made in that as well. But my point of it all in stating that claim is if you are playing 18s, you're on a good team. That means your program is really good. Your recovery is better than most. Your nutrition is one of the best in the world, and you're probably a big team as well. So there's give and take to that, but I want to ask you to ask the players who are competing in those championship games, Indiana, Miami this year. They would absolutely take in that every single part of the time. I personally think if you're on a playoff run, Lamont, the camaraderie of running that race and playing in each and every weekend, makes your son more competitive, makes your team more competitive, and creates a spirit of competition because it's win or go home.
Yeah, I think if you went to 24, it'd be the end of conference championships. Because to that exact point.
Okay, well, look what the ACC did this year.
What do you mean?
It didn't matter.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It didn't matter.
And I think that's part of the proponent of
strategically 2014. We've heard Austin them come on and say that legitimately some teams would rather not play in the SEC tournament so they get the recovery week anyway.
Right. Joshua at McMinnville gets the final call on this before we move on the other side. What's up, Joshua?
What's up, Josh?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Yep.
And let me put it to you this way: is Indiana a college football champion if we didn't expand the playoffs? And I don't think that program would have ever got there. By expanding the playoffs, we gave other programs a chance to put all the chips on the table and get after it and make a winning program again. And if you expand the playoffs, you're going to see that parity fan out even more. So one of the points that caller made earlier, guys are not going to feel like they have to go to Ohio State, they have to go to Alabama, they have to go here. They can play at South Carolina. And that program can take 2 or 3 years and be able to position themselves to make a run at a college football playoff championship. So I don't think Indiana ever gets there if we're still having a 4-team playoff because you're still going to have the 6 teams, the Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, whoever else that's going to have all the talent, all the control. So by spreading it out, you're going to give more programs a chance to actually make a run.
Appreciate it, Joshua. I disagree. I think NIL and transfer portal gave Indiana a chance. I don't think expansion. I mean, it is a factor. It is not the factor. The reason why players are transferring to Indiana is because they can transfer as much as they want and they can make money. I don't think just the fact that they were in the 12-team playoff in 2024 immediately gave them a they went 11-1 in 2024. Because they were able to build a roster through the NIL and transfer portal in a new way.
I think it would challenge NIL, though. Meaning you'd have more teams trying to pour in. It would challenge NIL to create better coaching. You would have a lot of teams trying to do what Texas Tech has done and buy a championship, pour in and buy all the best recruits, and look what happened to Texas Tech this year. It's only so many teams that's going to be allowed to pay that much money year over year.
Yeah.
To where the return needs to net a championship before those boosters be like, I gave $5 million last year, I can only give $1 million now. It's going to force coaches, I think, to coach and keep their team and manage it better.
Coming up, we shift gears to NFL discussion. Some NFL headlines from yesterday, a big trade for the Texans after we went off air. And I've got some names to know who I see as Titans fits and NFL Combine risers, some receivers, a running back, an offensive lineman, and the interior for Ramon to talk about. All that and more is coming up next. Tuesday morning continues on Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone and Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Some NFL news this morning, Ramon, for the Atlanta Falcons, who are headed to Madrid.
Oh.
The Dirty Birds will be I don't know if home team, or they'll be one of the teams.
One of the teams.
I should say.
Yeah.
In the Madrid game in the NFL in 2026. So that is not a Titans opponent. So you can cross off Madrid as an international option for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, man, they probably need that trip, Will. As many off-the-field issues they've had this friggin' offseason so far between James Pierce Jr., allegedly, as he still has to have his court date, and also a recent coach that just got fired for some insane things, man. Either way, they need to get out of the States for a little while. I don't know who they ticked off as far as the football gods go, but it is not looking good for the Falcons right now. Sorry, Godfrey. I know it's hard times being a Falcons fan. Stephen Godfrey, jeez.
And no first-round pick this year.
And no first-round pick as well?
Because they traded last year's first to move up to draft James Pierce.
Pierce Jr.
Tough.
Hard out here, Will.
Not great.
Beautiful place they're going to go play football at. So
Yeah, I would love to go to Madrid.
there's that. I would
fun.
take that trip all day long.
Absolutely. NFL headlines from a busy day yesterday have the Houston Texans acquiring running back David Montgomery in a trade with the Detroit Lions for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, a 2026 fourth-round pick, and a 2027 seventh-round pick. David Montgomery had his fewest rushes and touches in a season in his career last year, despite playing all 17 games. In 3 seasons with Detroit, David Montgomery had 2,500 yards, 33 touchdowns. He signed with Detroit in 2023 after 4 years in Chicago. He played 41% of offensive snaps, but that number dropped to 33% weeks 11 through 18. He did not have more than 10 carries in a game in any of the Lions' final 8 games. Who won the trade, Ramon? Lions or Texans?
I'd probably say when you're going for an offensive lineman, it's probably the Lions on this one.
Absolutely it is.
I have my takes on not quarterbacks, running backs that get this age as well. He's about to be, I think, 29 in about 100 days or something like that as well. There's stats about running backs after 28 years old and stuff like that. I get why Houston wants to make this move. Houston is trying to find a bruiser, trying to find a consistent body. You look at the dudes that they've brought in, from Nick Chubb to Joe Mixon. Both of those dudes are downhill, get after you physical type of backs. And I feel like they probably looked at David Montgomery and said to themselves, he's splitting time with Jahmyr Gibbs. He's the type of guy that we want. And it's probably going to end up being a Jahmyr Gibbs show in Detroit moving forward as well, because he is the talent. And they're probably about to pour into him even more. Just make themselves more of a weapon. I think David Montgomery kept them one-sided, but he's when he's on the field, predictable, I guess.
I think it's a really weird trade for Houston. This is not something you need to give up a fourth-round pick for. I think if you really wanted a running back, you can find a more impactful player over the next 3 seasons with that fourth-round pick than what David Montgomery is going to be. And then you also give up a future 7 and a backup offensive lineman. In a day and age where backup offensive line play is brutal, Ramon.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes any sense for Houston.
You know why? They're on the quarterback clock.
They're on the quarterback clock, and I think they are desperate after the way their season crashed and burned this past year.
Mm-hmm. And it also shows, too, that CJ can't do it on his own. Like, we knew that. We know that. Like, They hadn't gotten much out of their running game, and CJ's not a runner or a threat much at all on the ground. David Montgomery will be good in pass pro. He will be a bruiser, a tone setter, all of those things that you want him to be. But, of course, losing an offensive lineman and giving up a draft pick, which could go to another defensive player or wide receiver for him, is problematic for him. CJ and Houston, CJ Stroud and Houston got to figure their system out. It's been too much interchanging in the offseason year after year since he's been the quarterback, whether it's offensive coordinator, whether it's quarterback coach, whether it's offensive philosophy at this point. Houston's in a conundrum. Like, I don't know what D'Amico Ryan's pathway or plan is, but you can't continually have this type of movement around your quarterback when he's technically not overly established in this league. Is he an item? Yes. Is C.J. Stroud a threat? But his level of success has been carried by that defense, especially last year.
And that's the thing that makes me think it's more of a Nick Caserio problem than it is a D'Amico Ryans problem. D'Amico Ryans has held up his end of the bargain, specifically with his defense, and I think he is a good coach and seems to be cut out for this.
Mm-hmm.
They just make a lot of strange moves in the personnel perspective.
I agree with you. I think D'Amico's a phenomenal coach. I'm not dissing him. I'm just looking at the management of these moves, if they are his. I don't know if it's a GM. Yeah, GMs or whoever, but if CJ has this much play in the conversation, that's, I think, setting them up for failure. I will add that.
Well, Caserio likes his older running backs anyways, because in consecutive years, this year is Dave Montgomery. Last year was Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon.
It's supposed to be Joe Mixon, right?
David Johnson.
I don't think
Mark
Nick Chubb's
Ingram.
at the same level as David Montgomery, because Nick Chubb you could just go get.
In terms of the age factor and going to get in consecutive years older running backs that are near the end. Now, I don't know if David Montgomery's near the end there, but he's maybe on that trajectory.
See, I see Nick Chubb based on the injuries he's had as like 35. I know he's 30, but I feel like every knee injury ages you 2 more years.
Yes. And the way oh my gosh,
Dave Montgomery's got more in the tank than Nick Chubb does.
He does.
But also, you have Woody Marks.
But also,
and then you also have a draft that you can go get someone. I think it's a very odd way to build a team.
They're piecing together an offensive lineman, just got rid of Juice Scruggs. So
Right. They got rid of 2 offensive linemen yesterday, Juice Scruggs and Titus Howard. And their offensive line isn't great already.
Who's on this doggone roster?
So nobody. Jake Andrews is their center, who they drafted. You have Ariante Ursery, the second-year player out of Minnesota at left tackle. You have Blake Fisher at right tackle. You got a need at guard. Yeah, they're again rebuilding in the trenches as they're trying to immediately compete, and you better have a good quarterback that can make up that difference if you are going to have new offensive linemen kind of learning on the job with each other.
Can I play conspiracy theorist here?
Hit me.
What if this is a setup to make CJ not the guy? They're coming up on this 5th-year option conversation. And a decision have to be made if they think he can take them to the next level, or are they going to pour in $50 million a year to him? I'm not saying that they're trying to sabotage him, but that offensive line is questionable. They got good wide receivers, I think, with both of the young fellas from Iowa State that
Jaden
will
Higgins
grow up.
And Jalen Noel. Or Jalen Noel. So you say
yeah. And also, so you look at that side and say, okay, yeah, they got pieces in place, but they don't have protection. I know free agency has to play a part in this as well as far as them getting a veteran group. But I brought this up last time. I forgot who it might have been. Stephen Godfrey asked this question. How do you balance up making that decision to pick up the 5th-year option and also pay a guy the same way Miami? I correlated to Miami. Miami and Tua. Tua got $250 million for just being the first-round quarterback. What did Tua do to net that type of pay in a league to where you're supposed to go earn it? And the only reason I bring that up is besides the rookie year for C.J. Stroud, what has he done to actually win his team football games? You know? He bragged about, hey, when he left the field this past year in Pittsburgh, bye-bye, Pittsburgh. Dog, you had numerous turnovers yourself, and that defense is what held Aaron Rodgers in check. You're loud on the parade float, but you've contributed nothing in the last 2 years. So I'm not saying they're sabotaging C.J. Stroud, but these moves don't look like they're pro C.J. Stroud and how they're going about this because, again, that 5th-year option and deal for him is going to be at least $55 to $60 million in the new NFL. And is C.J. Stroud worth that? Or do you want to reset because you know your defense is always going to pick up?
I will say on Tua, to be fair to him, he got his extension in the summer of 24. He was coming off a season where he had 4,624 passing yards.
No, understood. One good year.
Right. Now, we can argue whether or not, and I agree with you on this part, that whether or not one good year should matter that much. But
right.
To say, what did Tua do to earn the contract? That's what he did. He had 4,600 yards in the season.
Yeah.
And C.J. Stroud hasn't touched that.
Are you, at this point in time, are we giving C.J. Stroud $57 million a year? Has he Is he a $57 million dude right now? I'll say it, no. In his play, no.
I think he is. I mean, I just think that you'd rather have a known commodity, at least, that threw for 4,000 yards as a rookie. Like, I'd rather be trying to find it again than start over. Even if it does really cost me.
Would you rather pick up his fifth-year option at $38 million?
I pick it up.
Well, yeah, you're
yeah.
going to do that. It's just a matter of
I don't. If you're Houston,
when an extension is going to set in.
like you just said, I don't know if you're willing to start over when he's really not that bad. He's not the sole cause of why you're failing.
I give you that.
You
He just
start with
wasn't the playoffs.
You start with the offensive line and in the trenches, giving some room and some time to throw the ball. Things could change because he did that.
Yeah, in the regular season last year, he was just the I'm good enough to not screw it up guy.
He was.
And then that just changed in the postseason when he had, 5 turnovers?
Mm-hmm.
And a playoff loss to the Patriots.
And again, I know this is the way this position and pay is going to have to happen. But here's the other part that's happening, I guess, what we see in real time. The secondary quarterback market is probably going to have something to say about these dudes getting these bigger deals moving forward.
It is already.
I know.
Yeah, right.
So if you are the Houston Texans and we're seeing right now Shane Steichen has found his guy and Coach McDonald's found his guy in Seattle, are you willing to say my system works better for Mac Jones instead of C.J. Stroud?
Yeah, there just aren't a ton of examples of Mac Jones winning Super Bowls.
Understood. I mean, I'm with you. But the idea that the secondary quarterback market now, I think is going to have a say-so about these monster deals that rookies are getting because they're rookies. Well, going into the second contract, I feel like if you're not sure that he's your guy, and to your point, I much rather have the guy. But if we're trying to win football games and build a better, stronger football team, giving 40% of the pie to a guy that's just really okay, Kyler Murray, I saw it in our chat too, that doesn't set your team up for long-term success.
Neither does getting rid of that guy and then signing Mac Jones, who then turns back into a pumpkin when he's a starter for 17 games. Like, either way you spin it, there's a disaster scenario. But
you also get Grayson doing what Geno Smith did to the Raiders and picking high in the draft.
I think what Nick Caserio would tell you is that, so that's why we're rebuilding our offensive line. Like, the guys we had weren't good enough to work with our quarterback. That's why we're making some hard decisions and getting rid of them. I just tend to think they got rid of the wrong one in Titus Howard, who was maybe their best offensive lineman last year. That's the weird part.
Mm-hmm.
I get them rebuilding the line. I don't get them rebuilding it with the way that they are.
Yeah.
It's more the method than it is the it's more the decision on personnel than it is the method in which they chose.
Understood. This is just real close to his option to be making these type of protection moves.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Coming up, names to know out of the Combine. ESPN writers give you top draft prospects and risers from the NFL Combine. There are a couple fits for the Titans here that we'll talk about coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster from Medical House Calls. Again, that is the website, medicalhousecalls.com. If you're feeling a little bit under the weather, you don't have all your bearings, you went out and had a crazy weekend, well, guess what? They can do a little bit of IV therapy for you, get you right back in the game the way you need to. Listen, whether you're just trying to get back and rehydrate yourselves and feel good about your weekend, or from fighting the flu and performance-enhancing cocktails, listen to me. Their nurses will come to your door and administer IVs to help you get better and feel better faster. Whether you're feeling fatigue, you got a persistent illness or injury going on, or difficulty focusing, or just being productive, there is an IV therapy for you. Also, for you athletes or guys that are hitting the gym that are still on your New Year's resolutions, well, they get athletic recovery as well. Immune boosting blends, rapid rehydration, and also just a little bit of that energy boost. Those B12 shots, man. You can call or text them almost any time of the day. They're available to you 7 days a week, and that's Monday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Same-day appointments are available, or next day guarantee. They will come to you. They are trying to bring back the concierge to medicine. Again, the website is medicalhousecalls.com, or you can call or text them at 615-838-2375.
Ramon Will rolls on, wrapping up the first half of your Tuesday morning, 615-737-1045. Some combine performances, Ramon, have made headlines, starting with a safety who I think is going to be an absolute stud. Get ready to learn about Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Safety from Toledo, winner of the NFL Combine, courtesy of Matt Miller, Jordan Reed, and Field Yates at ESPN.com. 6'4", 201, 35.5-inch vertical, 10'2" broad jump, but 4'5", 40, 6'4", 201. He's got long arms, and he didn't, in the workouts, really perform all that great. But this guy, I'm looking up his arm length right now because he's built like a freaking pterodactyl.
Yes, he is.
I think is going to potentially be a top 20 pick.
And he looks like a pterodactyl on tape as well.
Yes. Emmanuel McNeil Warren, 32 and an eighth inch arms, 6'3.5", 201.
Yeah. He looks like it on tape. I think it was either one of the black guys on NFL Network that said it. I think it was either Charles Davis or Bucky Brooks that said this about him. Like they were talking highly about his tape and his ability to play the sideline. He's an eraser in the middle of the field. He gets his hands on a lot of footballs that are thrown in the air. He's quick. He's agile. For that size, he's able to put his foot in the ground and go as well. It was fun watching them talk about him because, again, Toledo doesn't pop up on anybody's radar like that until they have one of these types of dudes, man, and he is a dude, Will.
Absolutely is a dude.
4'5'3", wow.
Certainly someone to remember. Mike Washington, running back from Arkansas, 6 foot, 223, 4'3", 40. Fastest among the running backs at 223 pounds, Ramon.
I remember covering him in the Arkansas game. And he had a day against us. He was a bruiser. You couldn't really get him down the way you wanted to. And then you looked at his size as well. Like him in the backfield with Taylor Green was a problem for the Vols that day. I didn't know he was 4'3" fast, but you could tell he had a whole lot of bursts in him when you go back and look at that game.
4'3", 340. Coming into the combine, ESPN writers say he was viewed as a top 100 pick. Adding at the end, there is a chance he could be the second running back off the board. Round 2 is a realistic possibility for Mike Washington.
He's worth it.
If you were to move back in the second round, that's someone I think becomes an option for the Titans.
He's more than worth it. Absolutely.
A day 3 wide receiver, Ramon, that I like, who tested well, is Cincinnati wide receiver Jeff Caldwell, one of Saturday's big winners at the NFL Combine. Listen to this. 6'5", 216, 4'3", 140. 42-inch vertical, 11'2" broad jump. In a class filled with big boundary X receivers, Jordan Reed writes, Caldwell certainly brought himself into the rounds 2 through 4 discussion and is now a major wild card in the middle rounds grade group. Says, I texted back and forth with a scout who said that Caldwell was one of the biggest surprises of the day. He certainly helped himself and now could be drafted early on day 3. You're looking at pick 101 there as a possibility for Jeff Caldwell.
I was wondering where he was going to come from as far as draft projection. You said a day 3, so was that 4th to 5th
pick
round?
101, yep, top of the 4th.
That fits. I'll be honest with you, like medium production, big guys like him that jump off the charts as far as athleticism, somewhat throw me off because there's a lot that goes into making sure those guys are successful as well. I'm trying to find his 2025 stats to see what his catches were and what he did. Yeah. As far as a prospect, no doubt about it. You want him on your team to see what you're going to get out of him for a 4th or 5th rounder. But this is a guy that had 32 receptions and just 478 yards. Athleticism, though, yes, put him on your team. See if he's actually got good hands or if he's butterfingers out here because with that size and athleticism, coaches can reason with themselves and say, well, he played at Cincinnati. They don't have the facilities to make him a star. So you bring him in, most definitely.
Yeah, only played the one season.
Yeah.
At Cincinnati, a developmental prospect with great traits who, at the very least, is going to be a teamer.
Yeah.
The problem is he's similar maybe to Elikiah Manor. in that he is a little bit raw of a big physical target. Lance Zierlein's take on him at NFL.com says his contested catch rate is disappointing for a player with his size and ability. So if you feel like you can coach him up, feel like you like the kid, feel like you like the intangibles, then maybe it becomes an option. Another player that got some headlines who could be a plug-and-play starter on day 2 or 3 of the NFL draft is Iowa center Logan Jones, seen as one of the top centers in the draft. ESPN.com, they say my top center in the draft. 6'3", 299, ran the fastest 40 of any offensive lineman at 4.9.
Jeez.
And they say he is viewed as an ideal fit for teams that operate in zone schemes, as he's an excellent on-the-move run blocker. Expect Jones to be picked inside the top 100 and become a starter early on in his career.
I see that. I mean, you said his top off center as well, but he also won the Remington Award, and their offensive line won the Joe Moore Award as well. I saw his tape. He moved well at the combine with all things as far as athleticism goes. You don't become the Remington Award winner with just being trash, is what I would say. Plug and play. He's coming from Iowa. I hate to stereotype them like that, but tight ends and offensive linemen, yeah, sign them up. I throw running backs in there as well from Iowa.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the 3 hot positions for that group. Or defense, too. Jeez, they got a good pipeline over there.
Yeah, it's a good NFL development program.
It is.
For sure.
Most def.
This morning at ESPN.com, ESPN's Jordan Reed has a 2-round mock draft with the Titans selecting Reuben Bain Jr. at 4 and Washington wide receiver Denzel Boston at 35. Sign me up.
That's 2 good ones.
Great with that.
Real good.
Denzel Boston, 6'4", 209, 62 catches for 881 and 11 touchdowns last season for the Huskies.
That's real good for college. Really good for college.
11 touchdowns especially.
Are we pump faking ourselves out too, all of us, with this conversation, or it's just healthy that we have this conversation about the 4th overall pick?
What do you mean?
Because I was heavy Reuben Bain.
I still am.
And now that conversation has gone, I feel like for myself, 3 different highways, 5 different highways now.
I think it's as wide open as the Titans' first-round pick has been in a really long time.
Yeah. Yes. And even the national talking heads are placing this spot. I mean, that pick everywhere.
Yeah. 615-737-1045. Rumors, headlines, takes on Titans and free agency. If you missed the beginning of the show this morning, we'll tell you what Matthew Berry wrote at NBCSports.com about the Titans and their pursuit of some pretty big free agency targets. Plus, Austin Price at 8:20. Your phone calls at 615-737-1045 as the second half of your Tuesday morning. Ramon Will continues after this. Bernie Gallerani of Bernie Gallerani Real Estate is going to be the very best resource to sell your home with no stress. That's because Bernie Gallerani guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. Yeah, he is the real estate agent with the 30-day guarantee here in Middle Tennessee. There's no risk to you. Bernie Gallerani will let you out of the contract at any time, because he's the real estate agent with the 30-day guarantee and the real estate agent in Nashville that is personally recommended by Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank. Bernie is going to make the process easy for you if you need to sell your home because you found your dream home that you need to move into quickly, or maybe it's because of work and you got to relocate quickly and you want to take the stress out of selling. Bernie can help you. In fact, he's so confident about his ability to help you, he's given out his personal cell phone number, 615-428-2644. That's 615-428-2644. You can check him out online as well at BernieGallerani.com. 615-428-2644 online at BernieGallerani.com.
8 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Make Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The deadline for NFL teams to decide on giving out franchise or transition tags is today, and it needs to be done by 3 p.m. Central. In New York, Jets running back Breece Hall is expected to be tagged today if the two sides cannot agree to a long-term deal. Per Adam Schefter yesterday, the Colts are 50-50 on getting a deal done with quarterback Daniel Jones, who would be a prime candidate to be tagged if a deal cannot be done today. In other NFL news this morning, it was announced that the Falcons are going to be playing a regular season game in Madrid, Spain in 2026, and a couple players have been released. The Texans are releasing safety Jimmy Ward and will save $750,000 against the salary cap, and the Commanders, they've informed Pro Bowl cornerback Marshawn Lattimore that they intend to release him before the new league year begins, a move that would save the team $18.5 million in cap space. Lattimore played in 9 games last season before he tore his ACL. Yesterday, the Nashville Predators lost 4-2 to the Detroit Red Wings here in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena with goals from Philip Forsberg and Jonathan Marchessault. So the Preds are on a back-to-back, and they'll be back in action tonight playing the Blue Jackets in Columbus with the 6 p.m. puck drop tonight. For all your foundation repair waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 3, getting started on Ramon and Will. Good morning. And welcome in to Tuesday on the Zone. 615-737-1045 is the number. He is Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling. Justin Hawkins, our producer, and Austin Price in 20 minutes. On Twitter, at Ramon and Will, a poll this morning talking about expanding to a bigger college football playoff because Josh Heupel, in a long-form interview with Chris Lowe, said he's in favor of that. We asked you, what is the best playoff format? 12 teams, 16 teams, or 24 teams? 52% of you say 16, 34% say 12 teams, and 14% of you say 24 teams.
I voted 24 because I took such a hard stance on it. I was actually a little surprised by the responses we were seeing there. I actually thought 24 would be a little bit higher because we are all about more football. I know Bert and Buck them got a promo going that is talking about, well, add 8 games. How about 9 games?
For 5 hours.
5
6
hours.
hour
Yeah,
game.
6 hours. Yeah.
7 hour game.
The more football I feel like we can get, the better. And I don't know. We'll see how it ultimately ends. I do somewhat agree with the caller earlier that brought up the conversation about that's a lot of physicality for college athletes. I do get that conversation. But if that is the expansion is a part of this, they got to get some type of representation that speaks about post-football injuries and life because not everybody's going to make it to the NFL, and there's a lot more injuries with more games.
Jacob chimes in and says 4 teams is the best playoff.
Nah, no, it ain't.
A lot of people feel that way.
Too much chaos.
Yeah, I agree. I think 12 is fine. 16 would be fine. Anything more than 16, I'm out.
Anything more than 16?
Anything more than 16, I'm out.
I'm here for it. I understand the concept of it.
I'd be more open to a restructured 12-team playoff and getting rid of the group of 5 teams.
We're getting rid of the group. You kicking them out?
Yeah.
Where are you sending them?
To their own playoff. Because each year that they play, it's not a good game. Yes, it's good football for one team, but it's bad football for the other team. If you expand to 16 or 24 teams, I feel like you're kind of murking the field a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oregon and Ohio State wasn't a good game. You throwing Oregon out?
Sure. No, I'm just kidding.
Tennessee, Ohio State wasn't a good game. You throwing the SEC out?
So then that just you don't throw the whole conference out, but you throw certain teams out.
Well.
But like if you go to 16 teams, you get more teams like the Oregon game or like the Tennessee game. It just at what point does good football get diminished to a point?
Now it happened.
It's been there.
Right. So why do you want to go to 24 teams when it's just going to get worse?
I actually agree with your point. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, I know.
No, Hawk, you want 24?
Okay, so he made the USC point
24.
earlier, 8-4 team that their best win was Iowa. They're going to go beat Ohio State.
I mean, I don't know if we're seeing USC and Ohio State play in the first round. That's the other part as well. Like,
okay, who was number 5 would have gotten a bye week?
So here we go then. What's the difference? What's the difference?
Combine headlines can wait.
Well, I know. What's the difference in NFL teams just saying make it to the playoffs versus
Great question.
this?
Great question.
Yes.
NFL teams have wild card teams that can win the Super Bowl. A Seahawks team was the last team in and won the Super Bowl. The NFL has more evenly distributed talent that college football does not have.
What's the lowest seed that you think can win a national college football playoff?
Well, that's a good question.
What's the lowest or the highest seed?
Well, I mean, Miami was close this past year, and they were what,
10.
10?
So it's 7 teams to make the NFL playoffs now. So the best of 14 is what the tournament is.
I think any of the 14 can win the Super Bowl.
Any of the 14, I don't believe that.
It doesn't often happen, but it has happened before. We have no precedent of a college team ranked like 16th winning a national title. We do in the NFL.
My mindset is this. Everybody wants the opportunity for the postseason, whether you are the number 1 seed or the 7th seed when it boils down to it. The way you look at it, right, in the NFL. There were times going into the playoffs, I knew we were going to be one and done. Or we make it to the divisional round, and that was it. I knew we weren't as strong as the best teams in the NFL. But to your point, like in game planning and competition and football games only being once a week, there might be a nugget that exposes a team that's better than you, and you attack that. I remember in 2019 or 2018, we ended up beating the New England Patriots at home because we ran the Wildcat the entire game, and they couldn't stop it. That's one game. Of course, I think that's what football provides you, is if you make it to the postseason, you have the ability to reset your season. That's the way I view it.
So here's the difference between the NFL and college football. The point spread on Chargers-Patriots. Patriots obviously won the AFC. Chargers, last team in the AFC. It's 3.5 point spread. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. What would the point spread be between Ohio State as the 5 seed and USC as the 20 seed?
Do we have those numbers?
At Columbus? It would be, I think it'd be 14.5, maybe 16.5.
At least a touchdown to a 10-point.
It'd be way more than a touchdown.
I'll still play that game.
The NFL is also a parity league.
Exactly.
You don't call college football a parity league.
I brought that up as well when we speak about NIL. The parity or the conversation to your alum that you need more money to compete. That the NIL rosters, if you want in this 24 now, everybody's got a better opportunity because the field is bigger. You pour into it. And the other side for me is this. You'll even have some teams like Texas Tech that probably pull back, that don't spend as much, that put the onus on the coaches the same way Kurt Cignetti took Indiana to the national championship as well. Like, I think you change the model and expectation of we can just buy a roster to where you got to start coaching your roster a whole lot better if you open the field up to allow teams to get into the college football playoffs. More of them.
You got 24 teams with that kind of money that's going to spend that kind of money?
Not everybody will, and that's my point.
24 teams with that kind of coaching caliber.
I think you shut down the money conversation if you're constantly making it in and you don't win the big show, because at the end of the year, there's only one team that wins it anyway. I feel like it was a complete waste with what Texas Tech did this year. They were almost trying to guarantee themselves a national championship, and they got bounced in the second round, whenever that was.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit better offensive line play and a better quarterback, and maybe you're talking about that because of the defense that they bought. The offense didn't live up to the expectations.
And see, that's the issue.
But it also goes back to maybe you need a college commissioner to kind of regulate that.
I don't think we're ever getting that
soon.
My point of it is this. That method of just trying to buy a championship goes to the wayside if you allow more teams in, because I think more teams and more boosters will realize this is dumb. It's on you, the coach. It's on you, the team, to develop. And I think that's what Indiana showed all of us this year. Development and good coaching is going to trump 7 times out of 10 a money roster.
They also spent a lot of money, though.
Who? Indiana? Yeah. Not this past year.
Not to the same level as the elites. They did not spend a championship amount of money.
No, they did not. They're not even saying conversation with LSU, and LSU didn't even make the college football playoffs this year.
I'm going to have to look it up, but how many players on that roster do you think were from high school signing to Indiana?
Not many.
Not many, but
Right.
But they paid a lower rate.
They weren't highly paid, highly rated transfers.
Like the Mark Cuban conversation that everybody's having, it's just now starting.
Yeah.
The conversation was Mark donated $10 million.
Like they have set themselves up now to then recruit with the big boys.
Yeah. Now that conversation happens more, Hawk, to your point.
Joey in Cross Plains next up. What's up, Joey?
What's up, Ramon Will?
What up?
So, Ramon, you said a minute ago that if it was 24, it would put more exertion and everything on to the athletes. Now, usually I agree with you. Everything you said after that, I do agree. But with that one, I do not, because I was, never played sport, but I was at an FCS school. And at Austin P, I transferred out last semester. But it's no different than, the FCS with the FBS. It's just they add all the different bowls, and there's no conference championship. So if you take the conference championships out of the FBS, it's the same exact system that the FCS runs, and those, even some of my boys up there on the team, think they can compete with, the bigger schools, and they have before, but they're not. It's no different than that. And I think for you to say that would be kind of ridiculous. Yeah, flagrant and ridiculous, because it doesn't make sense. Like I said, FCS has been doing this for years. And, now that the FBS is wanting to do this, and I've been trying to figure this one out for years too, since they brought in the playoffs. Why not just go off that model? Is it because of all the different bowls they have? The 9 million bowls in 40 days? Or, what's going on with that? But, you did make some good points too after that, bro. So, I do agree with you, Rest.
I either misspoke or misheard me. I think I said my point this morning has been they put more pressure on the coaches to coach up the players better when you remove the money and add more teams to it.
Well, it's just more everything, and you can't remove the money because the money is what makes the ultimate decision in the sport.
It does, but I think the money eventually,
Thank you, Joey.
Depending upon how successful you are, the money dries up at a certain point in time.
Maybe some places. Is the money drying up at Texas Tech just because they didn't go to the playoff this year, or didn't go further in the playoff? No, I
don't think it did just yet. We're talking about. Boosters do pull out.
Yeah, for sure.
I know he's a new billionaire, the guy at Texas Tech, but there's only so much. I don't care how much money you got. Well, I can come to you every day let me borrow $20.
Yeah.
And you got it. I know you got a job. But one of them days you're going to tell me, Mom, I ain't got 20. And that's my point of it all is you either need to pay me back or I need to see return on my investment at some point in time. Anybody that invests in anything is an idiot to say, we were that close last year. I'll give you another $30 million again.
Yeah. To Joey's point, there is more parity in FCS than there is in FBS. And there are more television contracts, and you can't just wave a magic wand and erase conference championships because those make a lot of money. So that's what's keeping you from going to the FCS model is the business model of Power 4 and FBS football is just so different from FCS that you're going to have to make sweeping fundamental changes that you can't just wave a magic wand and make. From the schedule perspective, it also would be still one more game even than what FCS is playing. Because they're playing 16 games right now too, and if you added 2 rounds of playoffs and took away a conference championship game, and now you're playing 17, which is still asking a lot.
I think my main conversation, though, is this is job security for coaches that are pro this.
Austin Price of AllQuest joins us coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Brian's Motorsport. Man, I actually got to go see him real soon, man, for one of the many things that he can do for your vehicle. Because of this, I'm trying to dream. He'll design and build it for me as well, man. They're located in Hendersonville, 789 West Main Street. And you can reach them on all their socials, too, at Brian's Motorsports. It's across the board. But if you're ever ready to elevate your vehicle, man, Brian's Motorsports, they specialize in transforming rides with statement-making custom wheels, immersive audio experiences, and head-turning style. That style can be anything from cutting edge to something that's real chill and subtle. They offer whatever you want at how far you want to take it or how chill you need it to be. I'm talking about lift kits, lighting kits, winches, interior and audio customization, graphics, and a combination of everything listed for a mile to wow for your off-road experience or on-road as well. Whether you want your vehicle wrapped, you want some subs in the back, you want to change the lights out, they can do that for you. Wheels and tires, whatever it may be, they have it for you. Again, they believe in this. If you can dream it, they'll design it and build it for you. And here's the other part, too, when you're dealing with somebody, it's just quality. Again, visit BriansMotorsports.com or hit them up on all their socials at Brian's Motorsports and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramon Will continues on 104.5 The Zone. The glass has broken, meaning it is time to get the very latest on Rocky Top. With our good friend Austin Price of VolQuest. He is Ramon Foster. I am Will Bowling. Good morning, Austin. How are you?
One day, we will have Christy O'Brien live with us here in this segment. One day.
Yeah, what's it going to take? What's it? I don't even know Christy. I don't even think she's in our building.
I feel like we need to go find her. At this point, Austin, we need to go find her.
We can pass along your number, Austin.
Yeah, that's on us for not even having her up right
now.
Who
are you? Where do you work? I love it. Austin, on Beyond the Orange, you sat down with Derek Owings. What stood out to you from getting to meet the most talked about and highest paid strength coach in America?
He's very impressive. He's got a plan. He's very passionate about the stuff that he believes in. And I would not survive over there in the building with the no sugar, full sugar Gatorade's gone, the fried chicken's gone. He's really trying to change the mindset of Tennessee football, and in talking to a bunch of the kids, man, it's been a little bit of a culture shock, but they're really excited and feel like this was the change necessary for them to take the next jump as a football program, and the players have really responded to it because he's one of those, much like Jim Knowles or Rodney Gardner. He is going to jump your rear, but he is going to love you hard, and he's really diligent about trying to make Rocky Top and make Tennessee into a contender, much like Indiana was the last couple of years with him up there in Bloomington.
Austin, we talked about this yesterday. I'm not sure people understand how big a deal that is, not having the Gatorades. Like, I told Ramon, even as a lowly non-revenue athlete as I was, we were stuffing Gatorades in our backpacks and taking them back to the dorm and filling up the fridge at home. Like, Austin, I can kind of understand it now, just how big the changes are, just hearing that kind of practically talked about.
Well, the Gatorade's there. It's just not full sugar Gatorade.
Okay.
Right? It's the zero sugar Gatorades are in the building. It's not quite like Dooley when he was there and said, get all the red Gatorades out of here. We're at Tennessee. We only drink orange. Because, the color of the Gatorade matters.
Wow. What? Match the pants.
But, again, he's doing the little things, to try to, make Tennessee better, to try to, help this team be in better shape, be more disciplined. That way, when it's 3rd and 6 in the bowl game, Ramon, and you're trying to get off the field late, at minimum hold them to a field goal so your offense can have a shot. That way they don't kick a field goal as time expires. You don't jump off sides and give them a 3rd and 1 and an easy conversion.
Austin Price of VolQuest with us. Austin, we've talked so much about the weight gain, the process of George McIntyre making adjustments and rounding out his game, being more durable for the entire college football season. I'm curious on Faison Brandon, Austin, what is the adjustment this staff maybe feels like he needs to make, and where does he need to take the next step forward in this spring practice coming up in 2 weeks as he makes that transition from high school to college?
I think it's just the mental side, understanding the offense. Physically, Faison is really well put together. He's about 215 pounds, 6'4", has a really good arm. It's just about understanding the offense, understanding the nuances, the little things, mentally grasping the college game, because it's going to move a lot faster than it did in North Carolina high school ball, and that goes for anybody. That's the one thing George has over Faison is, even though he hasn't really played in games outside of just the garbage time, he has been through practices and understands the flow and the speed and all that stuff. That stuff matters. And so I think for him, it's just about how quickly can he grasp and pick up the speed of the game at this level.
Austin Price with us is one of all question on 3. Austin, with Faison in mind, man, would you be surprised if he won this battle, or is this truly like an open competition between he and George?
Oh, it's truly an open competition.
Oh.
The people that have just handed this thing to George is similar to the people that handed it to Merklinger last April to whatever it was, the day of the spring games. QB1.
Right.
This thing's going to be an open competition. Now, does George have the inside track, Ramon? Yeah, because he has time on task in the system. So he has to take advantage of that. This spring is big for George. George needs to leave spring with a similar type, I won't say lead, but like inside track to the job. If Faison mentally picks it up and, then things get a little tighter, and it really will be, anybody's coin flip come August. But, yeah, this is an open competition. And, the best player is going to play, and if that's Faison Brandon, it's Faison Brandon. If it's George McIntyre, it's George McIntyre. It would be the only upset I see in this quarterback battle would be if it was Ryan Staub. I mean, that would be the upset of all upsets. Otherwise, it's one of the other two young kids.
No doubt about it. There's been, articles circulating around, and Heupel's made headlines around the college football world, Austin. Were you surprised that he wanted, or he's in favor of 24-team playoff in college?
No, why not? I mean, I think the more the merrier. I think, 16 obviously would probably be ideal, but if you're not going to be at 16, you'd rather be at 24 than 12. I mean, in this landscape, there's a lot of good teams that, are they going to, how many times is a team that's ranked 17th going to get to even the semis? I mean, probably not a ton, but how many times have you seen a wild card team go win the Super Bowl? You look at this past year, I mean, Miami didn't even win their own conference, and yet there they were playing for the national title and deep into the fourth quarter. So I think in his mind, like 12's not enough. If they're not going to do 16, let's roll to 24. And let's just expand, and that way you get in your frequency of getting in the tournament obviously increases. Now I'll say this: if you don't make the tournament at 24, obviously. It's going to up the pressure on those schools that don't. But I think in his mind, it's like, let's just get in the tournament and see where things go.
Austin Price of AllQuest, our guest this morning on Ramon and Will at Austin Priceless, where you get him on Twitter. Shifting gears to the hardwood, Austin, Nate Ament has been ruled out tonight by Tennessee basketball last night on social media. What is the latest on his injury and potential timetable to return?
Just in rehab mode. They're obviously being a little bit of, secretive about Nate. You had Amara Morgan yesterday on Sports Talk over here in Knoxville say, optimistic. I mean, that's relative. Optimistic for what? Optimistic for a return for the season, optimistic for a return for the weekend, optimistic for a return for the SEC tournament. What does that mean? Obviously he came back in the game Saturday, which I think was a good sign, obviously. But he did leave. I do wonder, are they just being conservative with it? I don't think they would have put him back out there if it was anything super, super serious, but obviously something did not feel right, and he chose to take himself out, or he made an agreement with the training staff, hey, if it don't feel right, you got to tell us. And he said, well, it don't feel right, and they said, okay, you're done, and they just brought him off the floor. Either way, I don't think he's done for the year. I think he'll be back. The question is just when. Is it this weekend against Vanderbilt? Is it the SEC tournament? Is he out to the NCAA tournament? What is that? And I think right now it's anyone's guess.
Austin, I know Rick Barnes says it's not a blown lead problem. It's just playing 40 minutes for this basketball team as they give up another lead against Alabama, another double-digit lead that results in a home loss, and some similarities to the way the Kentucky game ended, where you just can't get a stop, and then you also can't get a bucket when you need it. What do you think the biggest concern is coming out of the Alabama loss?
Yeah, there's all kinds of different ways to look at it, right? I mean, you can have a team that struggles early and then rallies late in a lot of games. You saw that last year from the Lady Vols, where, in some of the games they lost, I mean, they made this feverish rally in the fourth quarter to fall just short. Well, it's the opposite for the men's team. It's get off to a good start and then just kind of fade and have a game kind of stolen from you, like this past weekend or the Kentucky game in Knoxville was last month. They just, again, have to play a full 40 minutes of basketball, like Coach Barnes said, and they have to continue to see guys step up. I mean, we've seen it periodic times where J.P. Estrella's went for 17, or Jalen Carey's went for 17, or, Bishop Boswell's had an 8-point flurry in the waning moments to help Tennessee win. They just have to have some consistency to go along with Nate Ament getting healthy and Jacoby Gillespie. Now, with no Nate Ament tonight, they will be forced to kind of change how they approach things, and they'll be forced to have somebody step up. Years and years ago, Tennessee had like half their team out against number one Kansas. South Carolina ain't number one Kansas. But, like, what happened? Skylar McBee and others were forced to step up. When given an opportunity, and they know that they have to be a different player in that specific game, you wonder how much does Amari Evans step up? Does Amari Abram get more run and make some shots? Do you see Troy Henderson get back into the fold? Does things run more through J.P. Estrella and Felix Akpara in the post? All those things you're watching for tonight, because obviously everybody's going to be keyed in on Jacoby Gillespie in this game because he has to be Batman. They've got to have some Robins, though, to come up alongside of him.
And that's what I was going to ask. So especially with so many freshmen playing, is who's the guy? You have Coach Barnes giving opportunity to players, and then you have Dwayne Brown not getting out on a three-point shooter, or they're not passing off defensive assignments, or Austin missing layups for guys that's coming in and getting burned, man. Like, the opportunity to kind of run with this before the tournament for one of these backups or one of these reserve players is necessary now, especially going against South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to find a way to win this game, Ramon.
Yeah.
Obviously, South Carolina has not been very good. Now, they've been a little better at home, like most teams are, than they are on the road. And so you're going to get their first punch, and they'll have an uptick. You don't think they want to get a win late here in the year? They know they're not going dancing, but I mean, like, they'd like to win some games. I mean, this is right here near the end of their regular season, and Nate Ament's not playing. All right, we got a shot tonight, boys. And then they get a little more amped up, and again, Jacoby Gillespie's going to have to be special tonight. That there's no ands, ifs, or buts, but you better have somebody else, at least one, if not a couple, step up and be in that 14, 15-point range. And to me, it starts with J.P. Estrella, and then we'll see who can add to it.
Austin, I got a little bit of intel this past weekend on Baylor's David Gabriel Georges, man, and I just wanted to know what kind of football player he was. And I asked somebody that's real close to his program, is he that good? And apparently so, because he just signed with Adidas. Austin, what does that mean? Is there anything to look towards the future as far as Vols? That relationship, does it matter? And yes, I found out he is that good.
Yeah, obviously Baylor becoming an Adidas school sure doesn't hurt. I've said for the longest time I felt like Tennessee is in as good a position as they can be in at this current time. They still have to, continue to do really well. But, I mean, you have people at Baylor that have Tennessee ties that obviously, don't hurt having them down there. And I'm not just talking about Peyton Manning. Everybody wants to point towards him. That's not really Peyton's MO, right? Peyton's not going to be out there, hey, David, come here. Like, that's not, I mean, like, if David wants to talk to Peyton at a thing about Tennessee, Peyton will be glad to, to say nice words, but he's not a recruiter. That's not how he operates. But, again, Tennessee's done a really nice job with DGG to this point. Obviously, Ohio State is deep in that one. I'll continue to beat the drum of I don't see any other team emerging as a contender for him. He'll probably take a few more visits, but I think this has been Tennessee and Ohio State. It continues to be Tennessee and Ohio State. And, again, I like where Tennessee's at, as we said here, first part of March.
Austin Price joins us Tuesdays at 8:20 here on the show at Austin Priceless on Twitter, volquest.com, the very best covering Tennessee athletics. Thank you, Austin. Talk to you next week.
Appreciate it, Aus.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Austin Price with us. David Gabriel Georges will play at Innsworth this year on October 23rd with Baylor.
Well, it depends on my football schedule. That's right. True. I travel on Fridays now.
They open up the season with Brentwood Academy in Chattanooga on August the 20th. A rematch of last year's D2 AAA state title, which could have, just like it did last year, multiple future Tennessee Vols in that game.
I talked to somebody, like I said, that's around that program, one of my sources, and I asked him about DGG, and he was just like, he breathes football. He sleeps it. Everything that he does, he's probably almost a little bit too serious, but he said it's fascinating watching him because everything that he's doing is based upon making it to college and trying to be the highest prospect that he possibly can. So I said, what makes him good? Trying to figure out what makes a high school running back this good. And he just said, number one, his ability to find a gap and go is elite. Said, then one of the next phases in his steps in his game is slowing to get down. Because when you're this elite, you just smoke everybody. And also just raved on his ability to pass protect as a high schooler. Said that is probably one of the best things in his game as his pass pro as a running back. And I said, that's rare. Even in the NFL and college level, you don't find running backs that are that good at pass protection.
I know I say this with a grain of salt because I've not been A, alive that long, or B, broadcasting high school football for that long. I've got a little over 10 years, Ramon.
Mm-hmm.
I've been lucky to be around some really good high school football players in Tennessee. And I watched and broadcasted Jalen Ramsey and Corn Elder, Ty Chandler, Marcel Reed, George McIntyre, Jared Curtis this past year is up there. David Gabriel Georges is as physically gifted of a high school athlete as I have ever seen.
That's what I heard.
Physically gifted. Doesn't mean he's the overall best. It's going to be hard to take that crown away from Corn Elder because if you were in the city when Corn Elder was at Innsworth, Paul Wade, the OC, and Ricky Bowers, head coach, could have told the defense which gap they were going to run into. Good luck stopping it with Corn Elder. Oh, my gosh, Ramon. Oh, my gosh. He's the reason why I went to high school with Dawson Knox, Derek Barnett, and Jalen Ramsey, and it was Corn Elder that was getting to the state championship game and winning the state championship game with Innsworth. Like, I'll tell people the athletes I went to high school with, like, oh, you almost won the championship every year. Huh, never, actually. Didn't win a single one the 7 years I went to school there because Ricky Bowers, Innsworth, and Corn Elder, and then it was DeAndre Furby. And then it was like, they just kept on rolling them out there. Like, I'm telling you, Corn Elder was a cheat code.
That's what I heard.
Cheat code at Innsworth. David Gabriel Georges has that quickness and is maybe 30 pounds bigger.
That's what I heard. I was told.
It's unbelievable, man.
Like, you tell him the assignment he's supposed to run, and like because of his quickness, his eliteness, his vision, he'll just be wrong and make it right.
He's got some Ezekiel Elliott to him.
Yeah.
But he's taller than Zeke is. Like, he's a huge dude. But he's really quick. And so, and granted, when I saw DGG in person play BA in the state championship game this past year, I was on the field for that game, and BA defended him really well. And Larry Sanders, actually, from Brentwood Academy, was the better running back in that game. I don't think DGG was totally healthy, but BA's also got some legit linebackers. And Kenny Simon is someone that Tennessee really wants.
No doubt.
That was a heavyweight matchup because Kenny Simon could actually hit him the way that DGG's been hitting. So again, and I even saw him on like an off game.
Yeah.
And I still walked away saying, that dude's going to make a lot of money playing football.
Jeez.
A lot of money playing football.
It's crazy how you can just spot it. You know what I'm saying?
No question.
Yeah.
No question. There are players that are talented, that are really good high school players. He is physically gifted and looks like he could be a college running back today. Doesn't always mean you're the best. It just means that, like, he's ready to play college football literally today.
So that's what made me ask the question, well, what's next?
Yeah, right.
And my source told me vision. Slowing it down in vision because, again, the higher you go up in levels of football, the tighter the competition, the better the athletes are as well. And that's the next phase for him. But as far as overall having it, he got it.
615-737-1045, NFL headlines and a mock draft that dropped this morning, plus franchise tag deadline day headlines that are next. Franchise tag deadline day in the NFL, and by 3 p.m. Central Time today, tags have got to get done, and players will become available. 615-737-1045 is the number. All eyes on Indy. We'll see exactly what they choose to do with Daniel Jones and with Alec Pierce. It feels like a safe assumption, Ramon, to say that both of those players will be Colts.
Yeah.
It's just the gymnastics of how they're going to have to get to that point. I am curious what Cincinnati does with Trey Hendrickson, because it does not appear that he's going to get tagged again today.
Mm-hmm.
Is it safe to say he becomes the number one edge rusher on the market and the number one player on the market if he does not sign a franchise tag?
Yeah, because George Pickens is gone. The question I have for Trey Hendrickson, because he's not a spring chicken anymore, is how he want to go about this process. Like you said, the franchise tag satisfies the money most definitely, but Cincinnati got other issues that they got to fix, like an offensive line, like keeping Joe Burrow healthy as much as they possibly can as well, and Zach Taylor not being under the gun as far as the pressure to his job. I don't know if Cincinnati's fit for what he's wanting, and I got a feeling that's a deep run into the playoffs. I mean, he goes from New Orleans to Cincinnati, and the bags have been gotten. He ain't got much control over the franchise tag for sure, but if I'm him at his rate, I'm going to a big time. I'm going to a team that's in that window.
35 sacks in 2023 and 2024 combined. Only 4 sacks last season in 7 games. He had surgery in the offseason for a core muscle injury. I mean, if you're asking me who can impact their team the most of any free agent, if they hit their ceiling, unquestionably Trey Hendrickson is the number one free agent this offseason.
Yes, he's more than worth whatever they're going to pay him. I mean, his production has been there for the most part. He's an every down guy is the way you look at him.
So, to that point, should the Titans go all in for him? Why
It's
not?
a matter
Right?
of where you can go all out for him, but how close would he view the Titans as far as either pushing his? I think selfishly, you got to say, how can I make my career better too? And
At 31, especially.
yeah, no doubt about it. And how much can you win? Those are the factors that somewhat go into it. I would almost hope that Robert Saleh is strategic about how he goes about piecing this together, because again, I feel like the Trey Hendrickson signing to wherever he goes is going to be to a more complete team. And the Titans aren't there just yet.
Yeah, I think if you're the Titans, you're not doing your job if you don't try.
You would
With
you
the
want him?
expectation that, I want him.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's a position of need, and it's the top player available at the position, and you have the most money. So you got to go for it with the realization that late in their career, edge rushers are typically ring chasing. And are you in the position, or are you willing to overpay enough to persuade someone that wants to play for a ready-made contender to choose you? That's the question.
I just don't think it's healthy for Saleh in his career. I don't this time
What do you
around.
mean? Why not?
Because you bring him in and instantly the expectations go through the roof.
I'd rather have a good team with expectations than a rebuilding team that's just expected to be meh.
So, we've had this conversation, I feel like a few times in the last, couple of weeks, is how do you want to go about the Titans getting themselves back to being elite? Do you want it? It's easier to say immediately because football is so year to year. But, when you look at going to the Super Bowl in year one for Vrabel, and we just talked about this, or the year that Jaden Daniels had in his rookie year, it just sets the expectations so high, and chasing that level is so hard in the league because, to our point, the parity that's given.
Yeah, I get it.
Is I'm not saying you don't chase it because it sounds very much loserish.
I just
You know
don't
what I'm
think
saying?
you can worry about things that are out of your control.
And that's why I'm saying
Put
the
together a
league
good
is
team and let the chips fall where they may.
it's such a year-to-year thing. But I view Trey Hendrickson, with you signing him, if the Titans do sign him, as we're promising again.
So, I understand your point. I think you can do that without promising anything, first of all. And if people want to give you expectations and buzz, that's on them.
And they said
That's
they're
not on
going to
you.
judge it on the inside of the building. They said that will come from
Sure.
the inside.
I think, too, there's a difference between trading for L'Jarius Sneed and raising expectations by giving up draft capital thinking you are ready to compete than, hey, I have a ton of money. Let's give a good chunk of it to this really good football player. Those, to me, are two different things because you're not weakening your future ability to build good teams as much
Get that.
because there's no draft pick exchanged here.
Yeah. It's just a huge commitment and crazy optics that go along with it as well. And he's dealt with that. Saleh has.
Yeah,
With the Jets.
100%. 100%. I mean, you got to try.
So,
I don't have any expectation of him coming here, but
yeah.
I'm also not. I'm not going to be negative on going for it just because it would bring a level of expectation. I think coaches are wired that way to say, "No, good, bring it, let's go."
Yeah. No, most definitely. I wonder what's Coach Saleh's approach this time as a head coach. I'm not sure if he was even asked that in his media runs that he's had. Maybe if you're listening, we'll get him on and just have to ask that question. I'm not even sure if he want to answer it though. What is your expectations as a head coach this time? I think when you first get a job, the way he did with the Jets, it's I'm ruling the world. And you have to ask yourself as a head coach in that world, because this is his second time within 3 years of being a head coach. You want it more sustainable. You want to put yourself in a position where you strategically wanted this job. You got a young quarterback. You got a very fractured team. And is it worth it to immediately have success?
Yeah.
The Dan Campbell approach, I guess, is where I'm going with.
What do you mean? What do you mean by Dan Campbell approach?
Dan Campbell went in and reshifted everything about what the Detroit Lions were as an organization. The identity that they have, I felt like, was Barry Sanders, Megatron. You can throw Stafford in there, but it was Megatron. And then there's a bunch of losing. He went in and broke them down, built them back up to where now they're in a position to where Detroit at least is in the conversation. I think before Dan Campbell, Detroit wasn't really in the conversation. And I think that's where you want Robert Saleh and the Tennessee Titans, is the idea that he knows how to build a team and to get them to win.
Part of building good teams is investing in the right free agents that help you do that.
That's very true. But they also had losing first before they hit the crescendo of going up.
It's been losing before Robert Saleh, too. I mean, there's not a requirement for this team to have to lose in 2026.
No, it's not. But what I'm saying is what I think Dan Campbell in Detroit and his personality has built is they know what they're doing now. And that's what I feel like has been lost with the head coaches that have come here as of late. Even on the back end of what Vrabel dealt with here, too, is it looked like it was a lost cause in making this team competitive. But I think Dan Campbell has instilled in all of the media and their fan bases, they'll be back. And I don't know if some coaches have that whenever they win super early in their careers like that. Like, I don't know if Zach Taylor has that with the Cincinnati Bengals, if that makes sense to you.
615-737-1045 is our number. An update on Daniel Jones and the Colts negotiations this morning, plus Emory Hunt at 9:20. Going to talk some NFL draft with us in hour 4. All that and more after this.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, letting y'all know, if you know, like I know, nobody likes dealing with a plumbing, HVAC, or an electrical emergency at all. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost you if it get fixed right, or somebody's trying to sell you something that you do not need. I know this, though. When you call Hiller, the experts are going to solve your problems quickly, and the price you chose is the price that you'll actually pay. There are no hidden fees or surprises on your bill when you get it at all. Hiller has been in business for over 35 years and are family-owned and operated as well. Their techs are the guys or ladies that you'll see come to your house. They're always very professional, experienced, and trustworthy. And I'll be honest with you, they're very knowledgeable whenever they come into your house too, and show you, if you like, what your issues are before they start fixing on it. They're just good at what they do. Also, when they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time, so you're not sitting around wasting your time for somebody to show up. They believe in 100% satisfaction every single time. Their motto is, and you see it around their website and on their trucks, happy you'll be if the service is free. If you're not satisfied with the work that they do around your home, they'll try to fix it as best they can, or just simply give you your money back. To learn more about Hiller or to book with them, simply go to happyhiller.com.
Are high-interest credit cards and other loans sucking the life out of your finances? It's time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap into the equity in your home and get the cash you need now so you can pay it all off. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Corey and Jack did it. They called Loan Pronto. In a matter of days, they had $160,000, keeping the 3% mortgage intact and didn't need an appraisal. With all that cash, they wiped out all their credit cards and 2 car loans. Save $2,000 a month. You can do it too by going online to loanpronto.com. The rapid equity loan could get you $100,000, $200,000, even $500,000 in cash. Chloe and Ethan did it, consolidated all their high interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Just imagine, pay off all those credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier, and get your life back. Interest rates are at a 3-year low. Call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. Online at loanpronto.com, 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
9:03, good morning live from the Circus Sports of the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The deadline for NFL teams to decide on giving out franchise or transition tags to players is today by 3 p.m. Central Time. In New York, Jets running back Breece Hall is expected to be tagged today. That is, if the two sides cannot agree to a long-term deal. Per Adam Schefter this morning, the Colts are 50-50 on getting a deal done with quarterback Daniel Jones, who would be a prime candidate to be tagged if a deal does not get done today. In Rappaport reports this morning, it would likely be a transition tag for Daniel Jones. In other NFL news, it was announced this morning that the Falcons will play a regular season game in 2026 in Madrid, Spain. Also, a couple players were released yesterday. The Texans releasing safety Jimmy Ward, saving $750,000 against the cap, and the Commanders have informed former Pro Bowl cornerback Marshawn Lattimore that they intend to release him before the new league year begins on March 11th, a move that would save the team $18.5 million in cap space. Yesterday, the Nashville Predators lost 4-2 to the Detroit Red Wings here in Nashville Bridgestone Arena with goals from Philip Forsberg and Jonathan Marchessault. The Preds tonight on a back-to-back will play the Blue Jackets in Columbus with a 6 p.m. puck drop. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the fourth and final hour. Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone and 104.5 The Zone TV. Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. The F&M Bank chat open. Ron Slay hanging out in there. You can talk with him.
Yay.
You can talk with us. You can talk to yourself. We got plenty of people to do that too. 615-737-1045. Emery Hunt joins us in 20 minutes.
You stupid.
Very stupid. Yeah.
That's a sign of intelligence, talking to yourself.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
do it
they
all the
tell
time.
us. I do too.
I do it all the time.
I motivate myself all the time as well. Some of the stuff I tell myself is not, most definitely not meant for air.
No, yeah, that's
But
great.
man, I be talking so much trash to myself. It's necessary.
I think it was, who was it? Victor Hovland in the Ryder Cup last year.
Yeah.
Was asked, like, how do you deal with the hecklers at the Ryder Cup and people that are booing you? He said, oh, well, it's okay because they're not getting close to how mean I am to myself in my own head. Real.
Brother, that's what people don't understand.
Real.
Like, the battle has already been played out in my head.
That's exactly right.
What you said is, I'm going to take that and use it on somebody else.
That's exactly right.
Love that life right there.
No doubt. No doubt.
Just like me.
Yeah, looks like the Daniel Jones saga will continue into the spring. Apparently, Ian Rappaport saying this morning that it is looking like the transition tag for Daniel Jones, meaning that the race is on for them to sign Alec Pierce. Meaning there's maybe a glimmer of hope that the Titans could sign Alec Pierce.
I love how this is twofold for you.
No, of course it is. I'm going to localize it. I mean, I care about the Colts in the context of how they impact the Titans first and foremost.
Yeah.
If Alec Pierce is available next week when legal tampering begins, Alec Pierce is the name on the free agent market for the Tennessee Titans.
Well, here was
unquestionably to me.
What's crazy is like post the combine, how these conversations get more and more real because agents can go back to their clients and start talking to teams like, that's the other side. So legal tampering has already started. Numbers are being set currently as we speak, especially on a Tuesday where the agents will probably call you and say, hey, let me get back to my home. We'll talk on Tuesday just so we can settle everything else. Because players that are currently trying to make it to the NFL at the combine, they got to talk to them. And now it's the free agency side of it. The way my agent used to do me is like, hey, we'll talk on Tuesday or Wednesday. Today is one of those days in which you start letting your client know this is the lay of the land. They're saying you're going to make this. We got this team that are interested in you. This team over here, they say they give us a call. That's why this is coming out. So for him to have that type of information currently, Will, lets you know that it might get tight in Indianapolis.
You never know. You never know. It's like when you let a recruit visit another campus at the end of a recruitment.
Oh, my gosh.
When you let somebody have a chance to sell themselves and give an offer, you at the very least create more that you've got to pay that guy. Like, if Alec Pierce even gets the chance to talk to the Titans, yesterday's price might not be today's price when he goes back to the Colts. And I would still be surprised to see Alec Pierce, the Colts wide receiver, for those unfamiliar, playing anywhere but Indy next season. But this also might just inflate his value a little bit more to Indy.
Why wouldn't they do a deal with him? Now, those are the questions that I would have for him is, why not? If you feel like Daniel Jones is your quarterback, like I know the business plays out, but we're speaking about Daniel Jones on a 1-year deal. And yes, that is a huge chunk of the cap because that's what the franchise tag does. You can't spread that out. That $40 million or whatever it is has to be paid in 26. That's not allowed to be spread out. But if you feel like if you're Shane Steichen, and you got Jonathan Taylor, and your offensive line is mostly intact, why are we playing this game with Alec Pierce?
I agree.
I never understood that from teams.
Yeah, I agree. No doubt. No other big news in the NFL yet this morning. We know George Pickens is going to stick around in Dallas on the tag. Breece Hall is still kind of in limbo with the New York Jets, but that running back number is somewhat close to what he's going to get on a long-term contract anyway, that there's a little bit less desperation there, and there's also not a second option. Like, it's either Breece Hall or you're not tagging anybody.
Right.
For the New York Jets, I'm still sad he's not going to make free agency, but it will be interesting to see what deals get done between now and next week because, Ramon, the show begins next week.
Yeah,
for free agency.
And I'm here for it, man. Because for us that's covering and the fan base as well, it's exciting. And then you also get a real true sign of what they plan to do in the draft as the NFL is continually tacking every single month that spring sports have in it as well. We go from this to the draft next month in April. But again, the planning for your team starts with free agency, not with the draft, if I can be honest.
Sure. Yep, franchise tag deadline today at 3. Just 2 have been filed so far. George Pickens and Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts. That's all we got so far.
Yeah.
To the phones. Graham is up next. What's up, Graham? Good morning.
How y'all doing?
Good.
All right, how you doing, Graham?
I'm doing well, thank you, sir. I was up late the other night doing a draft simulator because it's that time of year, and I fell in love with Sam Roosh, tight end Stanford. He's a Lipscomb Academy guy from Nashville. 4 years there. He is the best blocking tight end potentially in the draft, so I don't know if y'all want to talk late round guys yet, but Nashville kid, so if y'all want to talk about him a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Graham. I called Sam Roush's games at Lipscomb when he was there. I'm going to try to go back to some of my notes from those games. Of course, I can't find them when I immediately look, but I want to say he was a guard in high school and moved to tight end.
What? He was opposite?
I don't 100% quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he was an offensive lineman. I could be wrong.
Golly, that is actually fascinating.
Okay, he was a tight end. He was a tight end. My bad.
Yeah.
He was a 4-star tight end coming out of Lipscomb, 6'5", 225. I don't know who I'm thinking of. But yeah, I remember him in high school. He was good. I have seen people linking him and the Titans as a day 3 tight end, kind of a blocker option.
Mm-hmm.
Open to it for sure. I mean, it depends on if Chikakonkwo is back.
Yeah.
Then Gunnar Helm can kind of fill that role. But if you want to free up Gunnar to be more of a pass catcher, then signing more of a blocking-focused tight end could make sense, yeah. And I think they're going to be more in 12 personnel this year. And Sam Roush is a bigger-built guy at, I believe, what did he weigh in at? 6'6", 267.
Yeah. Okay, 6'6", 267. Still a big athlete, but
ran
not...
a 4.7 40.
That's a big athlete right there. Is your priority first? And I don't know how I feel about him, man. Chig, or you looking outside? Because I personally don't know how to feel about Chig. I do feel like he's at the door of taking the next step, but I just don't know with Gunnar being here, is that possible? Or do you go through the tight ends for offense this year, considering what the wide receiver position is?
I think it's possible, and I think it's what you should do. I think
you
keep
should.
Chig. I think so. I mean, it's another example, again, where we're going to create a need that we don't really need to create.
By letting them go.
Yeah. Right. Like, he at the end of the day, is a playmaker. and doesn't need to be your number one go-to guy, 80 catches.
Yeah, that's real.
But he can make plays for you, and he's already in your building, and he's going to be cheaper for you than he's going to be for other teams because he'll probably give you a little bit of a hometown discount, you would think.
Yeah.
Said he wants to be here. He's a good locker room guy. Doesn't cause you any trouble. He can fit into this offense because a playmaker like that, you make fit into the offense.
You make him.
He's gotten better as a blocker. He's worked with your tight ends coach. Like, I think it's not certainly an easy choice. Like, if you love Gunnar Helm and want him to be the guy, then okay. But I also think you could have both. Gunnar Helm can be the guy, and Chicago can be in your team as kind of a gadget playmaker, almost big slot receiver type player.
I just wonder how high his ceiling is, but to your point, does it matter if he's a team guy too? Because you do pay for that as well.
Right.
You pay for glue guys. You pay for your own dudes to stick around. The issue is he's not a Mike Bergonzi draft pick.
Yep.
I do wonder how much of that we'll see happening as well. The old regime gets somewhat filtered out here in Nashville, Tennessee. And the only reason I bring Chig up and even in the conversation re-signing him back, I do feel like the approach to free agency in years past has been to go find the big guy or the big dollar dude, right? And you go get
He
Lloyd.
is that right now.
I know. You go get Lloyd and Lejeris and, Calvin and all these type of guys and hoping that they turn into Pro Bowls for you. And I just look at Chig and say he's great for the team, but I wonder what his talent level is going to be in this offense moving forward.
He can block and he can catch. He's a good culture guy. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to break the bank to keep him. And again, you have the money. Like, if they were strapped for cash and needed to move on, then yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and put Gunnar Helm out there. But, like, you have the luxury of being able to keep someone who you like having in your building who played pretty good football for you last year. I mean, Ramon, he was the Titans' leading receiver last year. Chigakonko was.
There's something to be said about that.
He was the leading receiver.
Yeah.
I think he makes a ton of sense for this team. I think he fits the offense.
That comment is going to come back at some point when we look back at the 2025 season.
It's going to be trivia in 10 years.
Yeah.
Who was Cam Ward's leading receiver his rookie season?
Jeez.
It's like the year that Antonio Andrews led the Titans in rushing.
Ooh.
Shout out Hilltoppers.
Hilltoppers? Okay, Western Kentucky?
Yep.
I got to look up Antonio Andrews.
Emery Hunt joins us coming up next. Ramon Will rolls on here on 104.5 The Zone with the whole crew here. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins. Pleased to be joined by our good friend Emery Hunt talking NFL draft this morning at F-Ball Game Plan on Twitter, the owner of Football Game Plan, the star of the playbook, CBS Sports, where you get his outstanding analysis. Emery, what's up? Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Appreciate y'all having me on the show.
Absolutely. Appreciate you stopping by. I left Indy, Emery, feeling like Reuben Bain Jr. just sounds like a Tennessee Titan. Sounds like the Titans of old. He sounds like the new regime with Mike Borgonzi and Robert Saleh. If I were to tell you today that the Tennessee Titans are drafting Reuben Bain Jr. with the number 4 overall pick, what do you like about that fit?
I would love it, and it wouldn't surprise me if he played with the Titans before they moved to Tennessee because he looks that age. Right? I like the fact that he just fits the mold of a defender, and it's fascinating because we hear this football cliche all the time: "Low man wins." It's all about leverage. Low man wins. And here's a low man, and everybody now all of a sudden, well, you got to have this tall guy, and you have this long arm, you have arm strength. Like, if you're able to get the job done, then you're able to supersede whatever physical limitations you are. Because until it becomes a problem, it is not a problem. And I've always used this analogy, and I'm surprised we're going to start seeing it make its rounds before people start stealing it like they always do my content. Mike Tyson was 5'10", and he was outreached by everybody that he fought. His arm length did not matter. He understood how to get inside, how to strike first and quick and effective. That's what Reuben Bain does. So it helps fill a need. Although I like Oladejo, whom they drafted last year. You just made the trade for Jermaine Johnson. So you have the luxury of not forcing the Bain pick. But if you get Bain, you can allow Bain to do the one thing really well consistently over, 15, 18 snaps as a rookie until he gets into that groove to where he can be a full-time guy out there for you.
Emery Hunt with us. I feel like that's the clip we play right there if the Titans draft Reuben Bain Jr. Absolutely. That we play on that Friday in April. I love that analysis. Emery, I'm curious on Reuben Bain Jr., that stretch he had at the end of this past season when you didn't see the sack production from him. And yeah, he had the 5 sacks in the college football playoff. But this past year, when he went through that drought over the final 5-6 games of the 2020 or 2025 season, what stood out to you on film about the ways teams were keeping him from that overall sack production?
Did you just say, yeah, he had them 5 or 6 sacks in the playoffs?
I know.
We're
so good at nitpicking incredible football players this time of year, aren't we?
That's like saying, oh, yeah, he would have had 40 yards if you took away his 3 80-yard touchdown runs. Like, Fair. No, that's part of the equation.
Fair.
But what happened with Bain is what you see with any type of rusher of his ilk. Teams start the game plan away from him, which is why you start to hear Akeem Mesidor's name start to bubble up during that time where Bain wasn't really getting that level of production because the focus was on him. And therefore, Mesidor was out there balling and doing his thing. And also, there was getting good pressure on the inside with those 2 defensive tackles they got. So teams just started to try to game plan away from Bain, not allow him. We rather lose, 10 on 11 because we're not going to let this one guy destroy our game plan. So to me, that's what it was. And you start to see a lot more double teams, a lot more chips, all those things, try to calm him from being the one to wreck the game. But in the process of doing that, Mesidor and everybody else had their fair share of success too.
Well, John, by Emery Hunt this morning. Emery, when you look at the combine in general, before I get back to players, what good comes out of it? Because it's more of nitpicking and pull apart than it is positivity. So what good comes out of it if you're one of these top players or a player in general?
Nothing. The only thing that good comes out the combine from a player's perspective is if you get all green lights on your medicals. Because outside of that, if you're working out and if you are, and it could be the gift and the curse, because yeah, you can go out there and run a fast 40. Yeah, you can go out there and jump out the gym. Yeah, you can go out there and, do crazy things within the bag drills. But if none of that shows up on film, then you'll get tagged as a workout warrior. Or if you did great things on film and you go out there and test poorly in all of those junior Olympic events they have you do, then it's like, well, is he? You have the question that you have about a Reuben Bain or players like that. It's like, man, I probably should just set this whole thing out. because it doesn't work well for me on any side of it. Now, unless you know you're a superior athlete and your tape matches up, you just go out there and just do your thing. Then it just confirms what people saw. And it gets people talking about you. But really, it's about, if you are walking away from the combine with a full bill of health, because health is wealth in the NFL. They're looking for anything to drop you down to get you at a cheaper rate. So the healthier you are, the better you are. Don't do any drills or any part of the combine testing.
No doubt about it. Emory Hunt with us this morning talking about the combine and the NFL offseason. Emory, I got two unconventional guys in today's NFL that I think are can't-miss top 5 picks. Jeremiah Love and Sonny Styles. Talk me off the ledge with those two dudes, man. How? Why weren't we talking more about Sonny?
Well, you're asking the right person, because I will not talk you. I will join you on the ledge with the running back position right away. Like, I am always going back there. I am team running back, right? So, boom. But I've always said this, too. The battery has to be strong. And if teams that are strong right down the middle of their battery are going to be good, that's your center, nose tackle, Mike backer, free safety, quarterback, running back, and obviously I said center. So if you're strong there, you're going to be good. So the closer you are to the ball, the better you are in terms of like the impact you're going to have. And I found myself, and granted, by nature of the position, I found myself watching Ohio State throughout the season. It's like, man, this Sonny Styles dude making way more plays than this dude, Arvell Reese, I keep talking about. And granted, yeah, he's playing linebacker. He's close to the ball. He's going to make more impactful plays because he's in more of a position to make those plays. But, man, it felt like when you looked at the timing of a play that needs to be made, he was making those plays. And he's not one of these linebackers, one of these peekaboo linebackers or wait-and-see linebackers. He is going through the O-lineman to the ball carrier. And if you'd have told me he played another position, I wouldn't have believed you because he plays like a linebacker. And I feel like we've gotten to the point where we've now whittled down this new age prototype. It started as Deion Buchanan, then it went to Isaiah Simmons, then Terrell Edmonds, and now we're Tremaine Edmonds, and now we're here at the final form of it in Sonny Styles, the athlete that can thump, that can cover, that can do all of those things. And as far as Jeremiah Love, he's the type of back you take in the top 10 or in the first round because he is the game breaker. He is the one that can score from anywhere on the field. And those type of backs changes everything. It changes how you play defense. It enhances your passing game because people have to be cognizant of their run fits and how they attack him. And they're so focused on not giving up the big play in the run game that you get these advantageous looks on the back end with your wide receiver. So a guy like Love is the type of guy you take early. He's the Saquon. He's the Bijan. He's the Jahmyr Gibbs. Those are the game breakers that you that not only change the math how you defend them, but also help you out offensively.
Emory Hunt, a CBS Sports Football Game Plan at FBall Game Plan, where you get him on Twitter. I think for the Titans and Jeremiah Love, Emory, it's such an interesting discussion because if you make the argument that Jeremiah Love could be the best weapon available to the Titans to help Cam Ward beyond just running back, because as you mentioned, like as a pass catcher, as someone that just expands your playbook, Jeremiah Love is a weapon. Does that make sense, considering the Titans' needs, considering that they brought in Jermaine Johnson? Are the Titans in the position to realistically consider drafting Jeremiah Love with the 4th overall pick?
Yes and no. And it's a good point you bring up because if you are looking at this from who's the head coach and how they want to establish this mentality or this identity, I would be hard-pressed to pass on Sonny Styles. I think Sonny Styles is a plug-and-play fit right now for what they're trying to build because you brought in Jermaine Johnson, so you kind of have a guy that can go and get the quarterback. You drafted a young kid, Aladejo, last year to give him a run right now. Bain is a different animal, but you now have Jeffrey Simmons already in tow, and adding the Sonny Styles to that front 7 will be tremendous. However, the mindset of drafting a quarterback number 1 overall is that you want to stockpile easy buttons around him. And the ultimate easy button is a great run game. Tennessee had a solid run game last year. They have a nice tandem. So it could be a situation where you're looking at a nice to have as opposed to a need to have. If they only had one back, maybe if they just had Pollard or they just had Spears, you say, you know what? Love kind of makes sense. Or if they didn't have any one of those guys, man, they need Jeremiah Love. But I found myself watching Tennessee last year and not being overly concerned with their ability to run the football. But it was a situation where you looked at their defense like, man, they need some more dudes there. And we saw that manifest itself in how they actively went out and got the trade for Jermaine Johnson. So I would have to be talked off the ledge, to not take Jeremiah Love, because I'm a big fan of him. But if you told me you either get Love or Styles, I would definitely go Styles for Tennessee.
Interesting. Emory, at wide receiver, the Titans have needed wide receiver help, it feels like, every year in the draft, and they're back there again. And in a draft that seems to have a lot of good boundary X, big, physical, vertical threat wide receivers. With pick 35, looking at that spot with the Titans at the top of the second round, I'm hoping that Omar Cooper Jr. somehow falls there, but I'm not counting on it. You look at names like Malachi Fields and Denzel Boston and Jeremy Bernard. Is there a fit for Brian Daboll's system that you would like for the Titans at the top of the second round that makes sense?
I haven't covered Brian Daboll out here in New York. I know he loves guys with that dog mentality. So instantly my mind goes to Ted Hurst of Georgia State, who has that George Pickens-like mentality. Give me those guys 10 times out of 10. And it's fascinating talking to him at the Combine. You found out that he was a star defensive player in high school before they moved him to the offensive side. So he already had the mentality that you want. Now he's playing offense. He has great hands, great speed. He's a stretch vertical guy. Had a great Senior Bowl. And so for me, when you look at what they need, if they're picking a receiver in the second round, and you just assume a guy like Boston is gone and he's faster than a guy like Fields, both have that same mentality, but I feel, and Fields has good hands, but you get the separation plus the good hands with a Hurst out of Georgia State. I would be more inclined to go there because it gives you that height, weight, speed guy with the same mentality that you want of your receivers.
Of the top receivers this year, of Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, and Carnell Tate, who's actually number one of that group, the way you see it?
It's funny because you mentioned all three of the guys that I have as number one in their respective spots, because I grade the receiver position by X, by Z, by slot, by big inside. So my number one X is Jordan Tyson. My number one Z is Carnell Tate. My number one slot is Mekhi Lemon. And my number one big inside guy is Denzel Boston. So all four of those guys are number ones in my eyes because, they're listed as receivers, but we know they play different positions within that. So I grade them as such how I see the best fit is. But all four of those guys are legit talents. And there's other guys like the Chris Brazell out of Tennessee. You guys seen a lot of the Vols, no matter who's the coaching staff, will always seem to produce very good wide receivers. So you have him. We talked about Hurst. You brought up Jeremy Bernard. There is a lot of good receivers. And the reason why that is because you see more 3, 4, 5 wide receiver sets, and these guys are getting so many man hours running routes and perfecting their craft that they come out of college ready to go. And we used to say it takes a receiver 3 years to really hit the ground running. Well, these guys are hitting the ground running right out of the gate because they've done it so much in college.
Emory, the other side of it as well, as far as picking apart those positions specifically, I almost feel like this edge discussion is the same way, in particular with Arvell Reese. Emory, where do you start him at? Do you believe that he can turn into an elite edge rusher? Do you say eventually, if it don't work out, we'll just move him back to, the second level of the defense? How is he to be viewed? Because he's a heck of an athlete, though.
I would always lend toward where a guy wants to play. So we see this with quarterback when everybody sees a quarterback that runs fast. Oh, yeah, he could play receiver, tight end. No, he's never played those positions in his life. So he's a quarterback that just so happens to be fast. So Arvell Reese let it be known, obviously it's a business decision why he was saying this emphatically at the Combine, that he wants to be considered an edge guy because he know edge guys get paid. But when you watch him play, he is an edge guy. I think he's a guy that his closing speed on a quarterback is something that you can't coach. You either have that or you don't. And that's one of those things I've talked about where certain guys just have a knack for certain things. He has a knack for when he sees a quarterback in his sight, he is going to be able to accelerate and close. So I would let him thrive there, burn out there, because that's where he is. And to your point, if we need him to do other things, we can drop him back and play him as a traditional Sam backer where he's kind of rushing, but he's also kind of responsible for the tight end. I like him going forward. And I think that's where he ultimately is going to thrive as a pro.
He is Emery Hunt at F-Ball Game Plan on Twitter, CBS Sports HQ. Football Game Plan, fantastic work, and a must-follow during draft season.
Yes,
Emery,
sir.
thank you for making us smarter, man. We appreciate you as always.
Appreciate it, Emery.
Appreciate you guys. Glad to be a part of it.
No doubt.
Yes, sir. Emery Hunt with us this morning. Good stuff. We got to start considering Sonny Styles like as a legit option with the 4th pick. And you're 100% right. And you and Emery were both first to that opinion.
When you see, it's no slight towards Arvell Reese at all. But when you turn on Arvell Reese's tape, you're going to see Sonny Styles. And looking at that Robert Saleh defense, it means a Sonny Styles player has to be there. And I don't think a Fred Warner, let me use that template.
Mm-hmm.
A Fred Warner guy needs to be a part of that defense. Certain franchises covet, or DC's covet certain positions. Like some guys want to, I think Greg Williams he needs a monstrous defensive line. I know Coach Dick LeBeau loved really good linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Tomlin loved great safeties. I think each players or each team has their guys. And I think Robert Saleh needs a Fred Warner type.
615-737-1045. Final call for phone calls. Little SEC hoops for you. What's upcoming tonight on the hardwood as we wrap up the show? Coming up next. SEC Hoops with a loaded slate tonight as we wrap up the show. Tennessee and South Carolina here on the Zone, courtesy of the Vol Network. 5 p.m., little early tip on the SEC Network in Columbia, South Carolina. The 12-17 Gamecocks hosting the 23rd ranked Vols without Nate Ament in the lineup. What do you want to see from Tennessee basketball tonight, Ramon?
Made layups. Let's start there first.
Yep.
Okay?
What else do you? All right. Next game. Here we go.
I joke, but like a team that you're better than, like own them from the beginning. They've done that before. That's the thing about it. This isn't foreign to what the Vols are. Like they've owned teams before, and they've also had to compete and win close games. Like that version of this team we saw play Houston, where's that group? And I know you'll be without Nate Ament, but like legitimately, where's this group at? Where's the group to consistently play Vandy the way you did? Like, don't do it out of emotions. Do it because you're good. Like, it's okay to get up in high moments and you don't want to be embarrassed by a team, but good teams, they do this all the time. And here's what I do notice. When I was watching them this past weekend inside of TBA, the fight is there. The push is there. The grind is there. It's just the execution that has to be taken in moments in which the other team is going on a run.
Just got to finish.
Yeah. The lack of response during runs is where it bites them in the butt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it's just that part of it. Just makes more tough twos.
Yeah.
Seems to always be the problem for Tennessee basketball under Rick Barnes. The ability to consistently make tough shots.
Yeah.
And especially without Nate, who is the guy that makes the most tough shots.
No doubt.
How do you respond? Interested to see who steps up and who gets more minutes with Nate out. Amari Evans feels like the best one-for-one replacement, but you're not just going to copy and paste Nate's minutes for Amari. You know, do you draw up more plays for Bishop Boswell? Do you try to play more of the two-man game and have the post feeding the post inside with J.P. Estrella, Felix Okpara, and Jalen Carey? Does Troy Henderson get back in the rotation? Does Henderson help split the minutes with Evans? Mm-hmm. Is Amari Abrams someone that can get more time? Ethan Berg, this may end up being better in the long run for Tennessee if someone steps up this week because you're forced to play without Nate Ament. If I'm Tennessee, Nate Ament's not touching the floor until the first round of the NCAA tournament for me. Not touching the floor. With reports out there that it's a high ankle sprain, I'm not wasting my time because you're pretty locked into a 5 seed. Like a loss tonight and maybe you're looking more at a 6.
Yeah.
But at this point, with as much as the seeding is set in stone going into the conference tournament, you just got to swallow your pride and say, let's work on some things, the SEC tournament. Let's see who else can step up. But right now, rest is the best thing for us to make a run in the NCAA tournament, which is by far the most important thing for Tennessee right now.
No doubt. And you know, the mention of Nate Ament, like, it's, to me, is what Austin said. Like, he did go back out on the court. He did run up and down until the first time out or the first dead ball for when he went to the locker room at that point. So he's healthy enough. It's a matter of, I think, to me, is getting him at a reset, putting him in a position to where I would say shifting his mindset as well, because his late starts or his inability to score early is something I think needs to be fixed. And maybe this is a time where you slow him down and go back to just plainly shooting the ball in a spot. Or, you know, like somebody's got to be more of a three-point threat than it just being Jacoby Gillespie.
Right.
That's where, to me.
That Tennessee didn't make a 3 in the second half.
I mean, what we doing here? Like, those are the things that have to happen before hitting into the tournament.
I agree. It'll be interesting, but right now, Joe Lunardi has Tennessee as a 5 seed that would be matched up with Yale as their 12 seed, and then would take on Gonzaga, most likely in the second round.
I'll take that.
Yeah, sure.
I roll with that all day long.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At this point, the positive is that the only difference between being a 4 and a 5 seed is really who you're playing in the first round, because the 4 seed plays the 5 seed.
Yeah.
So you're kind of on the same, like maybe you have a little bit of a geographical disadvantage, but like I don't think there's a huge difference between being a 4 and a 5. Because either way, if you win your second round matchup, you're playing a 1 in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And Tennessee is going to be the type of team that a 1 seed's not going to want to see, because the Vols can beat Houston. They can also lose a 15-point lead to a very mid-Kentucky team.
One to Mississippi State.
Yeah, right. Well, right.
Those are the things that have to get fixed going into it. Is this team good enough? Yes, I do. How far they go, it depends upon the consistency.
Which team shows up for 40 minutes?
Because JP will get hot. And then Jalen Carey will get hot. And then they both go cold. Like, Carey, I felt like, could have had more of a play in that game. But, of course, you're trying to go with a more athletic group because, again, what happened in the end is what I think Alabama was looking for, a matchup on one of your bigs that couldn't move his feet the way you needed him to. And then you go Phylon, and he puts a dagger in your back, man. Right. I don't think this team is bad. And I think that notion is, needs to be put to bed, or Rick Barnes is lost to any of those types of conversations. It's a matter of them showing up day in and day out, and that's what they don't have right now.
Alabama, a 1.5-point favorite at Georgia tonight.
That's it?
5:30 on ESPN News. And Georgia's not bad.
I know they're not bad, but I mean, Alabama's, I thought, was heralded as one of the best teams out, and that's a 1-point favorite.
Yeah, they're only ranked 16th on the road. Tough one. That one guy who always jumps up and down, who's bald at Georgia games. I'm sure he'll be jumping up and down.
Blue Cane.
I don't hate him either. I just, this is one old dude that's been for years just
one old
jumping. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
jumps up and down and pumps his arms up. I want to know his story. I'm surprised The Athletic hasn't talked to him yet.
Yeah.
Missouri OU, ESPNU, 6:00. Oklahoma, a 1.5-point favorite. A&M is a 1.5-point favorite on Kentucky, 6 p.m. ESPN2 in Reed Arena. That is one Tennessee needs to be rooting for the Aggies for, because Tennessee has the tiebreaker on A&M and does not on Kentucky. Florida, here, Gator Mike, we said Florida. Congratulations. Florida. See, I'll do it again. Florida. 5th-ranked Florida hosts Mississippi State tonight. They're a 22.5-point favorite. They'll probably win by 30. Vandy. At Ole Miss, 6.5-point favorite.
Easy work.
That was a close game at home. We'll see. Vandy's got some issues right now. LSU at Auburn as well. Auburn, who Bruce Pearl says should make the tournament, over 30-0, Miami of Ohio. Interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
Interesting.
Yes, very much so.
Gator Mike always tweets at us. We do anything basketball.
Or Florida.
Now talk about Florida.
Or Florida.
And we rarely actually have time to talk about
I
Florida.
choose not to. Okay, you can hide it.
That's the thing Mike does need to realize is that when you ask us every time we talk college sports to talk about Florida, we're actually less inclined to talk about Florida. We love Gator Mike.
We do.
Friend of the
program. He the homie, no doubt.
Coming up tomorrow morning, Rhett Bryan will join us. We'll talk more about edge rushers in the NFL draft, and we'll see what happens on franchise tag deadline day, a day you want to be locked in to the zone throughout the afternoon.
On this hot Tuesday, baby. You must remember at all times, though, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.